phone.
Okay. All right, guys, we are back for overtime. As you can see, we got some of our best and most knowledgeable fans and viewers here with us for a viewers roundtable, where we're going to just talk about some of the stuff that's going on with the Cowboys right now. We'll wait a few minutes to get some people in here. We all are going to share it. So make sure you guys get in the comments. Let us know you're here. Let us know what you want to talk about. I plan on us going on about 3 minutes after the last one, but we started talking, and before I knew it, we let 10 minutes pass. So these guys have a lot to say. And once again, let's go through and let everyone introduce themselves. Dominique, we'll start with you, and then we'll go clockwise.
Got it. Dominic White down in Belton/Temple, Texas, a Cowboys fan since a young man. And so looking forward to talking some more draft and Cowboys with you guys.
All right, Mendoza.
What's going on? Elazar Mendoza here, Fremont, Ohio. Cowboys fan for as long as I can remember.
All right, Jeff, let them know who you are.
Jeff Dunnigan, originally from Sardis, Mississippi, currently in South Haven, Mississippi. Let me give a shout out to my high school while I'm on here. Shout out to North Panola High School, EMP Cougars. Ready to talk some Cowboys football.
All right, last but not least, William, let them know who you are.
William Coulter, I'm out of Annapolis, Maryland. I just want to give a shout out to my wife and kids. I know they're watching and waiting for me to get off.
Let us know
why you're not in the bed already. Gotcha.
Mama didn't raise no fool.
All right, so we had a great conversation going. We were just talking about a few of the draft picks that were taken and not taken. And I hate I had to stop the flow, but I had to get us in here. I see we got 7 people watching, so the views are going up pretty quick. Yvonne Lopez, thank you for watching. We appreciate your support. If you got any topics you want to talk about, let us know. And I believe before we got cut off and started back, somebody brought up one of the coaches and asked if we liked them. Jeff, I think it was you.
I did.
So what coach did you ask about?
About Witt. About Witt as our new secondary coach. What you guys' thoughts and opinions?
All right, Jeff, we'll start with you, and then we'll go counterclockwise now.
I didn't really like the hire. His last gig, to me, he didn't put together a good secondary, and I really don't think secondary was our issue last year. I think we could have went on and let in-house guy like Edwards run the secondary or bring in another one. I wasn't impressed with the hire at all.
Okay. Mendoza, what do you think?
I mean, I don't really know much about Joe Witt to say. I know he was up there in Green Bay for a while. And, you know, with the Falcons this past season, I mean, I'm kind of on the fence on this hire. I really don't know what to expect from him. So I can't honestly give a true assessment of what he's going to bring.
Okay. Well, before you go, Dominique, Donald Weaver, thank you for joining us. We appreciate your support. Make sure you like whoever page you're watching from, and make sure you share this. All right, Dominique, give us your thoughts on Joe Witt.
You know what, man? I'm actually completely opposite of those two. To me, he was one of the names that you could have considered for an actual DC spot. And so for them to be able to put a man with his pedigree, his experience on that back end to help solidify the passing game coordinator and also those defensive backs, I like adding him to the group. And then sometimes we get scared of the good old boy system and adding your friends in, but oftentimes that's how you're able to solidify things and being able to be good educators when you know there's a man that can truly teach those young corners or potential young corners, because it looks like we need a whole new cornerback group. Yep. So I like the hire.
Okay. I'm with you, Dominique. And Nix, thank you for joining us. We're going a lot later than we normally do, so we appreciate you tuning in.
So, Nix,
you probably just left the video store coming and checking us out. I'm sure you're shocked to see Mendoza on the screen because I know we've both been trying to get him in front of the camera for a while. So let me say this about Joe Witt, and this is my thoughts on just coordinators in general. I hear a lot of people saying, like, I want a fiery, rah-rah guy. I consider those like the jock guys. I want my jocks as my position coaches. I want my nerds as my coordinators. Joe Witt is a smart guy. He's a teaching guy. That's who I want being in front of my guys and putting everybody in place. The rah-rah guys can get caught up in emotions. Whoever's screaming at practice, that's the guy they're going to give playing time. I think that happened a lot with Dorrance Armstrong last year, honestly. You got a guy like Tom Sula who sees a guy like Armstrong, 6'5", 260, active guy. I don't want to see that. I want to see a guy who's going to look and say, this guy fits the scheme, and I'm going to put him in that position. I think we had a little bit of that with Christian, with Rashard as well. It worked out with us for Byron Jones, but in other spots, I don't think it did as much. But yeah, I'm gonna hold my position on Joe Witt until I actually see him out there. But I think he's gonna do a good job. So with that being said, let me say this: since we have him coming in, it's kind of been talk about who's going to be in and out. But which one of our DB coaches you think is going to be gone? Maurice Lindquist or Al Harris, or do you think he gets rid of both of them? Dominique, we'll start with you, and then we'll go clockwise again.
I think the odd man out is Lindquist. I think you're going to want to stick with Al Harris because he's only got a year in that game as far as being a younger coach. So you kind of want to try to develop him even more and give him that chance to go ahead and to grow and learn in that system. But also he's not too far removed to being a player, and I think he still has the ability to relate to the players having been a player. And so I think Lindquist having that exact position that Witt is going to have, I think you're going to see him move on out and be the odd man out.
And I'll say this before Mendoza goes. I don't know how much rank he had in the room because Donovan Wilson was his guy, and it took us 7 weeks to see him on the field. So what was his real impact there? All right, Mendoza, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. I think the odd man out is Ling, just like Dom said. I hope they keep Harris. I really like what he's done with Diggs, and I think that they want to continue to see what he's going to do with him and then any other new defensive back that they would bring in. I just really hope to see him stay. And was it not Ling that somebody, was it Brandon Carr that was butting heads with them during the season? Somebody was butting heads with somebody. I believe that was Ling.
Course, but they never said, but they did kind of hint around that it was him.
Okay.
You butt head with Brandon Carr.
That's one of the reasons we got rid of him. But yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's Ling. I think you have to keep Harris, in my opinion. I think he's a good coach.
Yeah, I agree. Jeff, what do you got for us? Who do you think do you think they get rid of both of them or just one?
Nah, they'll get rid of one. Dominic kind of hit the nail on the head and checked all the boxes. You want to keep young Al Harris because of his age, his ability to relate to the younger guy, and his history in playing in the scheme under McCarthy. Al Harris was a really, really good, solid corner when he played. Sometimes played a little while, but he always made plays, and you want that experience, and you want him to be able to teach and pass that on to these younger corners that we got coming in. So I definitely think Al Harris will stay and Lincoln will be out.
Okay.
I could definitely see Harris turning into a almost like in a few years. Jerry likes to keep those people in the building.
Yeah, I agree. All right, let me throw this question out there. Since we're talking about secondary, and we've got Joe Witt here, and looks like we're going to that cover 3. There are a couple of guys from that Legion of Boom who are aging, who are both available. So we'll start with this question first, and we'll start with you. I'm not going. I don't see Spoonie in the comments.
Yeah, Spoonie ain't in here.
I'm about to go with Richard Sherman, 32 years old. He's out of his contract in San Francisco. Knows that scheme probably better than most coaches. William, do you think there's a chance that they may consider bringing him back?
Sherman, no. I don't see Sherman coming back. I think he's just too old, and I think Dallas is trying to go in a different direction, especially with drafting Patrick Surtain with the 10th pick in the draft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
I mean, I like Earl Thomas.
We'll come back to you on that one. Then.
I mean, we're talking about scheme fit. I mean, come on.
All right, Dominique, what do you think about Richard Sherman coming to Dallas for a year?
You know, me and you talked about this a couple of days ago, and I've slept since then. So I think the year to get Richard Sherman to squeeze a little bit of juice out of that lemon, because that's a sour boy you have to take in.
Yeah.
Oh man, but I think this would have been the year. You start to see the ball go over his head a little bit too much. Last year he had a great year. So I think that lack of speed that he has and the prior injury history is starting to catch up with him. Father Time catches up to all of us. And so this would be me saying no to Richard Sherman.
Okay. Mendoza, yay or nay? Richard Sherman, 1 year.
Nay. No. Not unless it's a staff position.
Okay. All right. Jeff, let me ask you this question then.
Okay.
Normally, this is around the age where corners start to convert to safety. And again, Richard Sherman knows the scheme. He's a big guy, 6'3". Any thoughts about him possibly coming in as a safety to play that cover 3?
The only way I see that is the same COVID rules that applied this year apply next year. And they do something with Sherman like they did with Brandon Carr.
Okay.
That's the only way I see that. Right. That's the only way. I mean, it might be a smart move because, if he's on the practice squad, then he can help, teach that. But like I said, I think we're going in a younger direction, just like William said, not necessarily certain, but we're going in a younger direction, get this younger talent in there. And, the only way I can see it is if they do a Brandon Carr situation where he's on the practice squad.
Okay.
And he's activated for only purely emergency situations.
Yeah. All right, before we go back to you, William, and we'll let you make your campaign for Earl Thomas to the Cowboys. Jessica Haggerty, thank you for joining us. And I see your comments. We don't need other teams' leftovers. I see Nick's is in the comments saying no.
Way to go, Jessica.
Yeah. And make sure you subscribe to whoever YouTube channel you're watching. I'm Bluff City Cowboy. My co-host is Cowboys Y'all. Nick's is saying don't do it. And Nick's also said Pitts at 10. He's been on that train for about 3 months now. Nick, you just missed our mock draft 1.0. And Pitts actually went 8 to Carolina. So he's not even on the board. And even if he was on the board, I doubt any of these guys would have taken him. Maybe Mendoza in the corner, but I don't think any of these guys would have taken Pitts over the guys that were available.
Nah.
You hear everybody with the 50 burger? Well, it doesn't matter when you're giving up 60 burgers.
That's true, William.
I mean, you gotta stop people.
All right, William. The floor is yours. Tell us why we need Earl Thomas. I give you 30 seconds.
I mean, it's nothing special. He's not going to come in and I think turn this defense around. But I think with all the changes we made lately, Earl Thomas knows this scheme inside and out. It's just as off the field that we don't know about. I mean, if he's been clean lately, then I think he'd be a great fit, especially with the price we should get him for. He should be very cheap. He lives right down the street.
Yeah. The Christmas story didn't sway your opinion any?
Christmas, I ain't hear that.
About wasn't he knocking on his girlfriend's window or something on Christmas?
And his brother? It was his brother.
Oh, it was his brother.
Yeah. Yeah. His brother and him were sleeping with girls or something?
No, not that one. The one that just recently.
No, that's a different story.
I don't know the one that's recently.
Okay, I thought I saw something today. Anybody else on bringing Earl Thomas back? Anybody on that train?
No.
Dominique, like thinking maybe.
Okay, for everything William said, and it's you go to the captains of that team and you ask them, what do they want? And if those men stand up and stand in the gap for him, then you give him a shot and you don't have to pay him as much as he would have come 2-3 years ago. If the players don't want him, I don't want him. So that's where we don't have that luxury as fans, knowing that.
Thank you, Lamar.
Yeah, and that's a good point too. You both made.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you this though. When I look at this team, I don't see a lot of step up leaders. Like we don't want
No,
this. I don't see anybody who here. If they said
no,
you're bringing in Earl Thomas, I don't see anybody saying no. I don't want him here.
DeMarcus Lawrence.
You think
that's it.
DeMarcus Lawrence is the one.
Please don't
Sean
get me started
Lee
on him.
would have been that. I think, though the fans don't acknowledge what he brings to the team, but Tyrone Crawford is one of those guys that's well respected amongst the team.
He's gone too.
With
He's
Zach
gone.
Martin, but it's really a Zach Martin. You're going to have the quarterback. I think Dak, once they figure all that out, Dak's going to be a big voice. And so who has some ties with him? The coach now, Dan Quinn does. This will be an interesting one.
Okay. Mendoza, you got any thoughts on that?
I mean, Zeke too. I mean, Zeke's. I mean, he goes out there every week after every game and speaks, whether it's him doing bad or not. So I mean, I would think he would be someone that would say, "Hey, I want Earl here," or "I don't want Earl here."
Okay. All right. So and guys, keep bringing the comments. You guys are making some good comments. Jessica, I see you've really been active in there. So thank you for joining us, and I hope you come back for future episodes. So we talk about the secondary position a little bit, and we still have an opening at defensive line. I think they interviewed Griff Smith for defensive line coach. Giff Smith.
Yeah, I think it's a gift.
But they didn't bring anybody in. So Mendoza, is there anybody you like, or do you think we just let Leon get his shot, or is there anybody out there that you think will make a good possible position coach?
Well, I'd be perfectly fine, I'll say, with Leon Lett getting the job. It really does seem right now like Giff is going to be their guy. I had commented in one of the groups. I thought maybe they would bring in Travis Jones, someone who was just with him this past season in Atlanta.
Yeah. I
don't know if that's someone that they're even considering, or if that's someone he's even considering, but I'm thinking they're going to go with Giff Smith. It just seems like that's the way where they're leaning right now. And I do know that Chargers do have two. I don't know if it's two, but they do have a free agent defensive lineman in Isaac Rochelle. I don't know if that's somebody that they would take a flyer on, cheap. But yeah, someone who would know the system, someone he's familiar with, if that's the guy they go with.
All right, Jeff, let me ask you this question, because Giff Smith has ties to the 3-4. He was a defensive line coach with Edwards in Buffalo. So does bringing these guys in, just all the close coaching ties, does that bother you any?
As far as determining what scheme we're going to run?
That and just a little too much nepotism.
Yes and no. Well, first of all, let me just put it out there, and then I go from this. I hope that we run a 4-3 scheme. I don't think we need to tinker with anything resembling a 3-4. I personally a better fit a 4-3, and I think we need, we settle on that. I think, that'll be, the route we need to go. I really wish we would just promote for a position like that. We already brought a defensive coordinator in from the outside. Yeah. So, it's just a position coach, and I'm not trying to downplay it enough, but let's just promote a guy, from the inside up to, go ahead and fill their position.
Okay.
I think we are bringing in too many of McCarthy guys, and, they just make it harder when it's time to let him go out the door. You got to, replace that many more people.
Okay. All right, let me go this question. William Dominique, I see you're muted right now, so I'll let William go first. Talking about defensive line, we all can agree we need that big nose tackle. Anybody that's a free agent that you like, that you want to see us go after?
Well, I want to see us bring back Gerald McCoy. I want to see if he still got it. I mean, this guy is what, 4 or 5 time Pro Bowler. I mean, he's getting up there in age.
But would you
I
put
don't
him
know
at
what
nose
his money would be.
But would you put him at nose tackle?
Oh,
Or you
yeah,
just
where
want
else
him,
would you put him?
you just want okay, so you just want him on the team for veteran presence, or you want him at the
Yeah,
nose?
I'd tackle. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I mean,
Dominic, I
it's
know
that the position he plays anyway, isn't it?
he plays a little bit of everything, but I don't personally think that's his best spot. Dominic, for you in terms of that nose tackle, any free agents that you really like? I know we kind of talked about Tomlinson before, but if you want to expand on that, you're more than welcome to.
Yeah, man. You know, the positions that have ailed them for years now has been that interior defensive lineman. That's a real fat cat daddy. And then you're looking at the safety position, which they've neglected for a long time using premium picks or money in free agency. But I think even above the safety position, that one tech is the area where they need to shore up. And I would hope that they do that via the draft because you can go cheaper there with the big body. But if you do want to make a splash in free agency and pay someone to lure them away from a team that is a rival of ours, I would go with Dalvin Tomlinson from the Giants. But I'm just kind of looking at the kind of contract that he would fetch, which would probably be like a 5-year, $42 to $45 million contract. He's going to get some big money because he's been a major cog in that defensive line for the Giants. And you see the coaching staff, their mentality, they understand how you need beast in the middle. So he's probably going to stick. Then I start to look at the other interior defensive linemen that are one techs and nose tackles in the in free agency, and I just don't see that one guy that just makes sense. I'd rather roll with Woods as a restricted free agent and then find somebody in the draft, maybe even two bodies. Pick one a little bit earlier on day 2 maybe, and then find somebody a little bit later. So get a combo there and let them compete, and then stash the other one on the practice squad if you need to.
Okay. Mendoza, I know
What
you
about Hill?
Tristan Hill.
Yeah.
He's a 3-tech.
I want him at 3-tech. I want him and Gallimore rotating.
So
definitely.
Yeah.
I wanted to bring Woods back, and Woods only played 30% of the snaps. And I need a big, sloppy, fat first down.
Big
Woods had
nasty.
heart. Woods had heart.
He does have heart, but
He brought a lot of
He
energy.
does.
But he ain't got body for 50 plays.
Trash can full of dirt. That boy gonna play. He gonna give you everything he's got. I love the kind of dude he is. I like following him on social media. He'll call some fools out who are always on, fans how we get. And so we put our stuff out there about these players. So he'll do little googly eyes. He don't say much, but he just lets you know he's listening. I'm watching.
Right.
Yeah. Like who was that? Was it Juju who tried to run to the star?
Yep.
Yeah, I was gonna say he was part of that
Behind his
play
house.
with Juju.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right,
I
Mendoza.
mean, you gotta love that.
I know you follow free agency quite a bit. Any defensive tackles you like that may be available that you think we should look at?
Well, I've been on Puna Forward for like about maybe the last month and a half
I know you've been on
or
him.
so. I was gonna say he's Texas kid, or at least a Longhorn. I'm not actually sure if he's from Texas, but I'm a Longhorn. I mean, there's Shelby Harris. Shelby Harris is somebody
From Denver, right?
Yeah, from Denver. And I don't know that he's a one tech, but Larry Ogunjobi, he might be a little bit more expensive than the other two, but he's someone that's available. He's still playing right now though. But I think any of those three. And then I didn't mention him earlier, but you guys had originally put me on for the draft to Daryl Slayton out of Florida in the 4th round. I think that would be fine. I would take him in the 4th, and if you could get Puna, set for me at least.
Jeff, you got anybody out there you like? I think Jeff may have frozen.
He here.
Oh, we got him back, Jeff. Any tackles you like?
Yeah, I'm back. Yeah.
So any
What
tackles you
about
like out there?
rankings from what about rankings from the Saints? Sheldon Rankins.
I like him, but woo, that money.
Yeah.
You think he'll?
I don't even think he's gonna get that much like you think.
You don't think so?
He's a casualty as far as going to be on that injury report, always in the trainer's office.
That's a good point.
He might have to be one of those 1 year prove it. So maybe you try to go for that, but I just don't see it.
That's why I brought him up.
You know, I didn't want to just steal all the guys, but I'm surprised y'all didn't bring up one defensive tackle that's a big name. Colt McCoy is still having nightmares about him from his UT versus Nebraska days.
Oh, I was gonna bring that up. That was my next question.
Yeah, okay.
Go ahead, finish it off, Dominic. Finish it off. Ask the question.
Hold on, guys. Daddy duty.
And Ndamukong Suh. Does Tampa Bay bring him back next year? And it's an interesting pick.
Weren't going to?
I mean, I love Suh.
I thought I seen something about Tampa Bay saying they weren't gonna let Suh go.
No, I think some fan just threw that out there, but there was nothing. There was nothing founded about that.
Let me say this about Suh.
I got you.
Suh is a hired gun at this point in his career. Suh is playing it smart. He's playing it like Darrelle Reeves. He wants 1 year deals.
1 year deal, yeah.
Much money as he can get. He's gonna come out there and produce, and then the next year he's gonna want even more money. You go look at his last 3 contracts. He went from 14 million to 10 million to 8 million. He's gonna want at least 8 million for 1 year. He's not doing two or 3 years. He's not giving anybody any salary cap breaks.
Yeah.
So there's another name you guys didn't bring up that I thought somebody would bring up, and it's the big D tackle from Oakland. I don't know who you think about, Dominique.
Hankins.
Yeah, Hankins.
Mm-hmm.
Big Hankins from Oakland.
PJ Hall.
Las Vegas. I'm sorry. Anybody got any likes for Hankins?
I do. Him and Snacks. Snacks Harrison.
Much about him.
But
him and
but both of them have been available 3 times, almost 4 times now, and Dallas just hadn't gone that route.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, I
Snacks
just
didn't even
overlook
play in Seattle.
Well, you know, that one, you really got to dig into that story. And I tried to. You got to understand, like, his family situation, what he was trying to do at Seattle, what Seattle wanted him to do, him trying to get back into conditioning. They really didn't even give that a shot. He felt soured by the situation because he's got a huge family. I think he's got like 7 or 8 kids. Him and his wife are real close. And to move your family all the way to Seattle during the time of COVID, and then they do him that way, he's never been a bad teammate. He's been one of the leaders on each team that he's been a part of. That was a weird situation to me. So, and he lives right there in Dallas.
Right.
Yeah, that was a weird situation.
I was all over that one from week 1. Just bring the guy here. He can stay at home.
Right.
All he has to do is come in and be fat.
Yeah.
Stay at home. We're gonna pay you $12,000 a week, and if we need you, drive in your car and come to the stadium.
It floods
That's all I want.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So we got another guest coming in. When good Cowboy talk is coming in, all of the vets come out and want to give their comments and their support, and I really appreciate this one. So now we're bringing in from the Star Game. It's your guy, BJ Nix. What's going on, Nix?
What is going on? What is going on, guys? Boy, y'all talking that good. I locked up. Boy, y'all was talking that good. I said, boy, let me jump in on this thing because I got to talk to my guy that talked about the defense giving up 60 burgers. Well, we ain't giving up 60 burgers yet. So if I can score 50, I'm going to win more than I'm going to lose. Let's be clear. Let's keep it a buck. The stat is from 2019 through 2020, if we score 30, we're 14-2. If we score less than 30, we're 0 for 14, that is, right? Give me another one in the clip. Give me another one in the clip because I don't want to draft Cheeto at 10. Sorry. But neither here nor there. Man, I appreciate y'all having me on, man. What are we talking about, guys? Defensive tackle? That we need a 1 tech in this thing? Is that what we need, guys? What we need?
Well, actually,
Elazar, my homie. What's going on, Elazar?
What's going on, DJ?
White, what's good? Jerry, what's good? Will, what's good?
What's up, Nick?
What's going on, y'all? Blood, appreciate you as always, brother. What we talking about, man?
Thank you. So we're gonna switch it up, and we're gonna come back to defense in a minute. Let's go back to this offense for a second. And there was talk that our offensive coordinator, who just turned down the job at Boise State, his phone is starting to ring a little bit, and it's the Philadelphia Eagles. So Nick,
yeah, meet me in Florida for the face-to-face.
Right? Not even Skype. They want to bring them in for the face-to-face.
Yeah, no Zooms, no StreamYard, no. We want that face-to-face, even though they did backdoor towards the end of the day and bringing in a linebacker coach as well. Here's what, to me, and I put this on Twitter, guys. Man, they're trying to find somebody feverishly to come in and say, yes, I will coach Mr. Wentz.
Yeah.
That's what they're looking for. They're trying to find somebody that says, yes, give me Wentz, and I will come on the Titanic with this sinking ship, with this terrible salary cap, but I'm going to ride for you because it's easier to get rid of a coach and it is a quarterback that you paid. Now, look, we kind of know this, right, guys? How he's been revered. He's the young gun, right? We saw the thing with McVay that happened over with the Rams. Now, obviously, a little bit younger. He's only 32. Okay, but they're doing their due diligence, man. I'll be intrigued to see if he takes the deal or takes the meeting. I think at the end of the day, as Brian Broaddus always says, there's only 32 jobs in America and in the world, right? If you get an interview, you take the interview. It might not be for that job, but that sets you up for your next opportunity to get that job. But I don't think he's going anywhere. If he was going to be gone, he would have been to Boise. Jerry said, "Hey, come here."
The Boise, yeah.
Come here. Here's his 3-year deal. Now look, 3-year deal for him. McCarthy has 3 years left. They signed Quinn to basically a 3-year deal, so everything lines up in 3 years saying, here you go, Kellen. Oh, you're about 35, 36, 37. Here you go. Here's the keys. But I wouldn't be worried if he took the interview because he's doing his due diligence on that side. But I think it's much ado about nothing, though.
All right, William, let me go to you because you know what they say. When a team brings a guy in for an interview, they normally don't let him leave without the job. So if he does take the interview, do you have any concerns that he
telling you right now, no way he takes that job. He turned down Boise State, his dream job. I mean, that's all we heard about for months. Boise State, where he grew up. He's a god there, you know.
Football
they named kids after him. They named kids after him. And he turned that down to stay, and there's no way he goes to the Eagles.
All right. Dominique, you look like you may think different up there. I don't know if you do or not, but give me your thoughts on this one. If he makes that trip to Florida, do you think he would take a job if they offered it to him?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
There's no way. I think I don't even believe Philadelphia is in it to really give him a legitimate chance. And I don't think it's necessarily them trying to pick the brain as much as people are saying to get what the Cowboys are doing, because a Kellen Moore wouldn't even accept it if that were the case. He's not going to be a dumb guy in this. He's going to play his cards right. And so I honestly don't even think he's going to even take the trip.
Okay. Interesting.
Wow.
Mendoza, what are your thoughts on that one? And let me say this before you start. Just to put it out
secrets.
There. You look at Dak and you look at Wentz, the same draft. Wentz doesn't have a quarterback coach. Dak does. And look at the careers. Do you think they saw that on the other side of the fence? Say, you know what? That grass is a little bit greener. Let me see if I can get that fertilizer over here and get my grass to look like that.
I think that's definitely something that they're thinking about. Yeah, definitely. I think it's more of like a scouting thing, though. But exactly with what you said, I think both sides are going to essentially be doing that with each other. It's like scouting the enemy. That's. I feel like that's all this is. There's no way he takes that job. There's no way.
Jeff, you make it in a consensus on that one?
He don't take the job. The number one reason why he wouldn't take that job is Jared would not let that happen.
Okay.
No way, no how.
Is he coming to his house and locking him up like they did the basketball player in Dallas a couple years ago? Lock him up, he can't leave.
Jared might even come out with a story to say he got COVID, so he can't have the interview. Anything. Jared's not gonna let that happen. Jared is all about headlines. and he's not going to be in a negative headline of losing his offensive coordinator to the rival Eagles. That ain't going to happen. Not at all.
Okay.
No chance.
I mean, the Eagles right now are a nightmare. I mean, I don't know too many people that want to go into that type of situation. They're already like $100 million over the cap. It's a nightmare there.
Money talks, and you know the rest.
Let me ask you a question.
You want to win too. You know?
Yeah.
All right,
let me ask you a question real quick, guys. Let me spit it to y'all. Blow, you can start since you've been asking all these questions. Let's get your insight. They gotta get rid of some money now, right? They got to get rid of some money. We just talked about it. There's $70+ million over the cap. There's an aging veteran that can play the one tech, guys. His name's Fletcher Cox. Probably going to be on the market. Bluff. You want if they want to interview our offensive coordinator, you want to go ahead and take that former $100 million defensive tackle for a couple of years while you draft maybe a young Smith down there from LSU to learn behind Mr. Cox?
That is going to be an expensive price tag if they do.
Oh, it's an Asian veteran. It's not going to be $100 million. It ain't going to be that expensive.
All right. You think he's taking a discount?
How about this one?
How
about not a discount? I'm saying it's not going to cost you $100 million that he's coming off this contract of. One, two. Here's what I also think is whenever we get somebody new in the building, they give them a toy, right? They're going to give them a toy. If we talk about Dan Quinn, he cut his teeth as a defensive line coach. Now let's think about Stephen Jones, right? And how he watches his pocket. What's going to cost you more, a one tech or a free safety and free agency? What's going to cost you more, guys?
Free agent. Free safety.
There you go. So I can kill two birds with one stone if I'm Steven. Oh, you want that shiny one tech? Man, that works with my pockets. Go pick you one. And I'm saving money because I'm not paying a free safety. Now, maybe it's not Cox. Maybe it's a Hankins. Maybe it's, hey, look, Dalvin Tomlinson will be the over the moon, right, kind of guy we'd like to see. But a Fletcher Cox coming in here, would you, if it's approachable, let me do it that way for you. Within reason, money-wise, Bluff, what do you think about Cox for a 2-year deal?
Oh, if it's within reason, money-wise, I'm all for it. And I got to go back to something you always say. You build your team up the middle.
Up the middle.
And to add on to that, the inside builds on the back end to me. You can have the greatest safeties you want, but if your linebackers are lacking, that safety's job is going to be to cover a little bit more field. It's going to look bad.
Big facts. If
your linebackers are great, if they don't have a defensive tackle that's protecting them, they're not going to be able to make those plays because they're going to get swallowed up often.
Preach to them, Bluff.
We got to start going at the bottom and going to the back end. So
we haven't had a defensive tackle since Leroy Glover. I'm going to pound the table. Look, y'all can love Jay Ratliff all y'all want to. I'm not hating on Jay Ratliff. We have not had a defensive tackle stud since Leroy Glover. You bring that guy in here. We haven't stopped the run since 1990-something. Okay, let's keep it a buck. Let's stop the run. And just like you said, Bluff, now that free safety got to worry about coming down here so much and creeping into this box and helping with this run, I can stay on that back end and handle my business, if you will. And I'm with you, Bluff. We got to get that one tech to me is bigger than everything.
All right, so let's go around a little bit. Let's assume Fletcher Cox is available. Is he your number one defensive tackle? Dominique, we'll go with you. Then we'll go clockwise. Is he your number one?
First, I just think we got to be realistic. And realistically, will Philadelphia dump him and designate him? It would have to be a post-June 1 cut. Of course, he could hit the street. They'd want him to do that. He's been a beloved player of theirs. So they'd make that happen for him early so he can be able to go find a team early in free agency. I just don't think that's going to happen. You see teams able to navigate around the cap and find ways to get that $70 million price tag all the way down. But the other question might be, would they consider trading him and doing that post June 1 where they can really save on the cap? But for you to be the trading team to take him on, you're talking about 2 years of salary that you're going to have to pay 15 million one year, 16 the next.
Not doing that. Yeah.
I don't think you want to do that. So for Cowboys, you would be interested in him only if they did dump him, and he would be your number one defensive tackle. I don't care if it's a 1 tech, 3 tech,
get him on the line.
0, 5.
Talk to him, dog.
That's gonna be the one. You play him anywhere you want to play him. I'd kick that dude and make him go play at 7 and 9.
Yeah,
he's just that valuable.
Yeah.
So I'd be okay with his recent injury history. He's a dog. He's the kind of guy you want in your clubhouse, which is what we're missing.
Yeah.
So bring him on.
All right. Mendoza, you on the same train with him as well if you can get him?
Yeah, definitely. If we can get him, I'm all for it. I'd be really weird seeing Fletcher Cox in a Dallas Cowboys jersey, though. But sure.
It looked good, though. It looked
good.
good.
It looked good.
Oh, it looked way better.
Who we got at 91?
I don't think we got a 91 right now.
I don't think so either.
No, that's LP.
Guys,
That's
let's.
LP.
Sorry, we can speak into existence.
You can give him another James.
Speak it into existence. Fletcher Cox, come on down.
William, what do you think about that? You like Fletcher Cox if he's available for us?
I mean, I like Fletcher Cox, but he reminds me of the old school players like DeMarcus Ware, who got offered more money to go to Washington but turned it down. Like, I just don't see Fletcher coming to Dallas just because it's Dallas.
Yeah.
Maybe he wants to stick it to him after what went down in Philly at the end of the year.
I don't know. He's been a diehard Eagles his whole career. I mean, Mark Cooper turned down money from Washington too. More money.
Hold on.
Hey, Mark Cooper turned down money from Washington as well.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Where is Fletcher Cox originally from, college-wise?
Talk to him.
Mississippi State.
Yes. And who did he grow up rooting for?
The Cowboys.
Cowboys.
Lost me there.
Go to the Cowboys, the team you cheered and rooted for as a young man.
Yeah.
Dak, Mississippi boy. Connect with that. Stick it to your old Eagles team twice a year, guaranteed. Especially if they dumped him.
Yeah, if they dump
That's what we're talking about.
about.
We're talking about they dump him just to save on salary cap.
Dak needs to be on his line and saying, "What's up?"
So, bro.
Right. Let me switch it back up to the draft for a second. And Clay Cup, thank you for joining us in the comments. I see we got a little bit of a Dak debate going on in the comments.
Here we go.
We don't touch Dak talk on the Cowboys on. That's not a subject that we hit on. It's too emotional on both sides.
And sign him and move on. Let's go.
Exactly. There you go, Nick. Just bring them on back.
Yeah.
Sign him and move on.
Like we're talking about.
Yeah.
So Mendoza, you brought up a great point on Facebook earlier. Going back to the draft a little bit. We talk about this team. There hasn't been a lot of emphasis on D tackle or safety. You asked the question, with Quinn here, which position do you think we would look at first in the draft? Not first round, but just first between those two. So let me go to you first, Mendoza. Do you which one do you think we would look at first, considering where we are?
Well, given Quinn's niche in being the defensive line, I would have to say defensive line, and I'm pretty certain that he's going to get his guy, and he's going to, just like he did in Atlanta. I forgot who the defensive lineman that he went and got in Atlanta was, but I have faith in him to get his guy.
Okay. Jeff, what about you? You think we go DT first, or you think we're looking at safety?
We're not talking about necessarily about round, right?
No, just which position. Like let's say we're in the second round and we're looking at, I don't want to say Barmore because everybody's in love with him. Let's say it's Marvin Wilson or the kid from TCU, which people are kind of fond of in the second round. If you're looking at those two guys and you got them about the same, which one are you going for in the second?
Well, hopefully, the way I hope this
All right,
plays out is,
All right,
I hope that we get safety in free agency, and that way we don't have to worry about that. And so you go with the younger guys in the draft, and I think we'll definitely go D tackle first.
Okay. So Dominic, I see you shaking your head. You agree we go safety in free agency and get your DT in the draft?
Yeah, Marcus, I'm not calling you out on this, so I just want to say,
what's that?
I'm the realistic guy. I'm that guy who keeps trying to put us back to that, and so I don't think the TCU kid would even be an option at 44. I think he'll go a little bit earlier in that, so to match him up with Wilson. So I think it's more of dropping down to maybe that Cisco kid that you like, and I don't like at all.
We agree to disagree.
So I think I'd rather go the number 2 interior D lineman or even the second or third guy before I pick any of the safeties that are 2 through whatever it may be. And I'm like Jeff, I hope they can solidify the safety position by using the free market, which is flooded with safeties.
Oh, yeah.
Before you go, Nix.
Now I know this going.
So you got Bo Rig as your number 1 safety in the draft. You do? Okay.
All
right. Just come on.
That's a whole other episode. Go ahead, Nix.
Come on with it.
Come on with it, Nix.
If we're in the draft, you think we're going DT first or safety if all things are equal?
Man, let's keep it a buck, guys. Let's keep it a buck. And we're talking about, right, we got to talk about the totality of what this defense is. And let's be clear, there's not a safety in this draft that's going to come in here day one and be the rangy guy at free safety. Those are just the facts. I like Cisco. Hey, look, I'm a Cisco fan. But he's not going to come in here day one and be that guy for you. It just is what it is. The one thing that's, opportune for us is free agency for the 2 needs that we really need down the middle of this defense at DT, a big nasty 1 tech, and free safety are to be had. Now we know Steven's got to go out here, open up the checkbook a little bit, do some things. But to me, I look at it as, now look at the defensive line. It's a deeper draft on the defensive line side. Again, that guy down there at LSU, boy, I like him. I like him a lot. I like him a whole lot, and I think you might be able to get him in the 3rd round. Talking about Mr. Smith, right? Yeah, and I think you can get him in the 3rd round. But again, even with that being said, with him, he's the type of guy that he can give you snaps, but you need that. Whether it's a Fletcher Cox, I'll take Fletcher Cox off the. I mean, I brought that up just to have fun here and do things. But let's get back to. It's not out of the realm of possibility. I'm just saying. But if we're talking about the Hankins of the world, or the BJ Hills, or whoever, you want to get the assassin suit if he gets out of Tampa, whatever. You get that bridge gap guy, right? That sounds like what we do in Cowboys Nation, right? We get a bridge gap guy and a young guy, right? And kind of marry it together. You can do that as safety as well, to be clear, right? But I think if we go back to what this defensive coordinator is at his roots, is a defensive line coach. And the things that have been plaguing this team all the way back to our playoff loss against the Rams when CJ Butterball Anderson ran it up on us. Okay, you have to at least stop one or the other. What's easier for us to stop? To me, it's going and fixing the D line and stopping the run, and we'll figure everything out on the back end. Let me get my foot planted somewhere, and let me say, okay, we're going to stop the run. That's the identity. We're going to stop the run. We'll figure this out. We know Diggs is going to fit well with the press and bell technique. We see what we got over here in Donovan Wilson. Maybe we get Cheeto back on a 1-year, 2-year deal. We know we got Anthony Brown still here. We can do some things. Canada's a guy that's not really talked about. We signed him last year. He set out, so he comes back to us on this contract.
Didn't see Westry either.
Right. You got Westry. And look, and I'm hoping, and here's a nugget. I'm hoping that Joe Witt will be for Mr. Robinson II. Are you a corner? Are you a safety? No. You're a corner. Just how Christian Sharp came here and said, no. Byron Jones, he's a corner. And that gives us even more depth there, and then we can figure the rest of it out. But I think if we're talking about the draft, first and foremost, guys, I'm going to get you a corner in the 2nd round. Don't worry. Because we're going to get something. We're going to get something on offense at 10. But neither here nor there. All
right. And Nick, you see Dominique excited up top.
But as the question, defensive tackle over safety, yes.
All right. So let me go to this question then, Dominique, because I saw you kind of were agreeing with him on that one. So I know Nick's answer, so I get you guys first. If we go free agency,
I don't want to be there too, though. But go ahead.
No, I'm talking about free agency now. Okay, so if we go free agency at safety,
let's go.
Who's your guy that you like?
Oh, Marcus May all day.
Ah,
Go back and you watch him at Florida, and you see the range that he has, the ability to even play inside slot, which adds that value when in the NFL you need safeties. Forget all this strong safety, free safety stuff. You need them to be able to interchange, do it all, especially play deep in his cover three. I think he has the range that you need. He could go ahead and neutralize some of the issues that you might have with the young secondary. He's seen a lot already in the NFL. You need a coach on the back end that is on the field. He can put guys in the right place. You saw a lot of communication issues with the Cowboys this year because of COVID, because you have some coaches that apparently weren't great teachers. You keep hearing that a lot here in the last month or so. Put him back there. He won't be the highest priced free agent. I'm not big on Justin Simmons like some people are.
Oh, Nick.
don't jump through the screen, Nick.
Hey.
Nick.
Only because I know what that price tag is going to be, and I'd rather use that money to build up that one tech or that anywhere in the defensive line. So give me that. I was thinking about Harris from Minnesota for a little bit, but he's a little bit old. He's getting close to that age where I saw him slipping a little bit this year, and he's on a downward trajectory like you were just showing. So give me Marcus May all day. I want a 26-year-old guy. If we can get Johnson out of LA, that'd be nice. I think they'll try to keep him.
John Johnson.
Yeah. John Johnson III, number 43. He's pretty good, man, if you hadn't checked him out.
Yeah.
But those two, I like it. If you want to get an old guy because you can't pay any of these dudes,
bring in Earl.
Gibson. Sean Gibson.
Sean Gibson.
All right,
Gibson.
William,
That's
I
one.
leaning back in your chair a little bit. You got a safety that you like in free agency you think we should target?
No, not really.
Okay,
I mean, I was talking I was talking to guys at work about this. I mean, how many good free safeties are there in football? There's not many.
Agreed. But boy, there's a couple of free agency though you can go get. But I agree with you. I mean, there's not. I mean, every team if they could have one, they'd have one. I agree with you, Will.
That's true.
Yeah.
All right,
Mendoza. Better
Mendoza.
other than DT.
Yeah. So Mendoza, what do you got at safety? Who do you like?
Well, I've been on Neal since to be like half the season, but he is more of a strong, and that as much as I'm a firm believer in Donovan Wilson at free safety, I think that's something he could do. I do think that keeping him at strong is something that would help benefit him more. So, I mean, like Dom said, Harris, he's getting kind of older. I felt like he kind of regressed this past season, but he does have familiarity with George Edwards. I don't know if that's some George Edwards would buy, like for him maybe, but I would have to say May. May is the guy that I would target.
Yeah, I mean, here's my. Go ahead, Jeff. I'm sorry. Let me step on your toes, brother.
All right, so I know who Nick's want. I've been on Star Game a couple times, and I know the safety he want, but I got to go with May as well. I think with our first priority being to sign that, I think that puts us out of the Justin Simmons sweepstakes there. Because I mean, let's be honest. I don't care how many free agents we sign or what we sign on defense with that. If we don't have that, we're going to be looking at another season like we looked at this year. So I think Marcus May would be more cost effective for our team. And I think that, with his talent and his age and like what Dominic said, what he's been through with New York, I believe he can come in and solidify us over the top without us having to pay top dollar for safety.
All right. Okay. And for those of you who don't know, Nick's first, I didn't get a chance to do this. Introduce yourself, let them know where you are, where they can find you at, and then let us know why Justin Simmons is the guy that we should break the bank for to get.
Go ahead, Dom. Start it off, baby. We'll go around clockwise. Go ahead, Dom.
No, they've already been here for an hour.
Hey, man, it's simple, man. If you're on Twitter, right on the bottom of the screen, your _guy_Knicks. Man, come follow me on Twitter, man. Me and Jay Tucker been tag teaming folks on this number 10 pick about why we can take offense all day. It's been a fun time. We even got Big Game James to come over here to the Dark Side Last on the Stargate podcast. Beyond that, Stargate is the group. Stargate is also the page. If you're on YouTube, by all means, Stargate podcast, please Go sub. We're over 100 finally. We just started it not too long ago, about 4 or 5 months.
It's hard to get over 100.
Yeah, we broke over the 100. We're trying to get to 500 before next season. But Stargate Podcast, hit the sub, hit the notification, whatever that shit is down there, man. Just press it. Just press it. Come on, y'all know what the deal is. Y'all know the drill. All right. Dad, come in. When we talk about said, I'm going to channel my inner Spoonie. I know my boy Spoonie's riding with me down here.
He's in the comment.
He's in the comment.
Look, man. Let me ask y'all something. Real quick. I'm gonna give you one take, and then I'm gonna give you another take. Okay, real quick. Man, it's been 25 years, 26 years, whatever. I lost count. Look, I couldn't even grow this last time we won a Super Bowl. Okay, all right, and it wasn't white even. I gotta get my wife's on my ass right now. She's like, "Hey, you gotta do something." I'm like, "All right, babe, I'm gonna go get it dyed up." Okay, fine. Look. Why do we campaign for the best jersey to be sold? It has a 1 on it and cap space on the back. Stop being fooled. They can go do and sign anybody they want to. Steven has y'all like a battered spouse syndrome, thinking we can't go do nothing. No. How much money, real quick, guys, how much money did the Kansas City Chiefs have over the salary cap before they went and signed? Not 1. Not 2, but 3 guys. They signed Patrick Mahomes to the all-world deal, right? They went and signed all-world defensive tackle Chris Jones, and they extended Kelsey, if I'm not mistaken, right? They had $177.
I was just about to say 178, yeah.
And they went and signed them all. So stop saying that we can't go get Simmons just because Steven got us believing we can't go get Simmons. There is a trigger built into Amari Cooper's contract right now. All they can do is, boop, press a button. And money's available. They can
14 million.
So, Tom, say it again.
14 million.
Sounds like you get Simmons done, doesn't it?
That's it.
That's what you need.
And even on top of that, there are things kind of built, and there's things kind of built into this because we know, yes, the cap's going to be a little wonky this year because of COVID and everything, but we know that the TV money's coming, and this cap is going to grow expeditiously the next couple of years. It's not going to put you in zip ties and hurt you. So they can do these things. And the first year that you sign these big deals are typically the cheapest in these big deals. Okay? So, yes, you can go get a Simmons. Now, with that being said, I'll tell you why Marcus May, though. Because
that's my guy.
Because he might be – look, I think Simmons is a better free safety overall. Listen to me, though. But I think May is more versatile. I'm going to tell you why.
Definitely.
Because he played with Jamal Adams, and we kind of got baby Adams over here, Donovan Wilson, right? Hey, the first safety since Roy Williams, they have 2.5 sacks, right? The interceptions and the fumbles and everything involved, right? The first one since then. So he could be that Cam Chancellor for you. Well, you look and say, well, May played strong safety this year. Well, what did he do before this year? He was the free safety for the Jets whenever Route 33 Jamal Adams was there. It was playing center field, so he's a little interchangeable in what he can do. And, yes, he might cost you a little bit more money. So you're telling me, look at it like this. Can I get May and a Dalvin Tomlinson for the Justin Simmons money? By all means, sign me up. But if I can only go get one, man, come on, bring Simmons, man. Kiss the baby.
All right.
Kiss the baby.
All right, is everybody? All right, let me ask this question then. Because personally, I feel like we're going to see that Reggie Robinson back at corner. If that happens,
I really hope so.
that happens, we only have one safety under contract, and that is Donovan Wilson. So we talk about starting safeties. Is there another guy out there that you like that you would feel comfortable with as like a backup guy? Like I know Mendoza brought up like a Keanu Neal. Would you be okay with having Neal as like our backup?
And I'm still bringing Neal in here for depth in coaching this. I'm with Mendoza on that for sure. First thing I say, man, bring Neal over here. No, I don't need you to start over Wilson, but yeah, bring him over here. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for sure. We need that.
Do you think he would want to take a backup job though?
Hey, that's devil in the details. I don't know, man. I'm just saying what I want.
I feel it. No, I feel that.
I'm with you, but I'm with you though. At the end of the day, as Will said, how many great free, just safeties in general in the league? I'm sure there's somebody that's going to be willing to pay Neal starting money, even though he had some injury issues. He wasn't hurt a lot this year. A lot of people want to, they just want to brush underneath the rug with the broad stroke. Yeah, he wasn't really hurt much this year. And look, I'm going to backdoor you on Anthony Harris real quick.
Yeah,
right?
I was about to say him.
Let me backdoor you on him. Yeah, he maybe had a down year. They had no pass rush. Griffin was gone, right?
No, they didn't.
And Hunter was hurt the whole year. Man, they had no pass rush to help them out, because I think if you want to say he had a down year, well, the all-world safety to the left of him, Harrison Smith, you would have to say also had a down year. So I don't know. Now that's the devil in the details again of, well, they didn't have the right kind of pass rush. So was that the problem? Or with his age, as Don brought up earlier, is it the age and he's regressing? And hey, man, I'll leave that up to William McClay with what they do with the research and everything to bring that forward and do it.
All right, real quick, because William has to go. Dominic, hold your thought for a second. So, William, thank you for joining us tonight. We appreciate you coming in for the draft. We also appreciate you sticking with us for what looks like an hour. We'll probably be closing out pretty soon. But just let people know where they can find you at on social media if they want to see some of the great comments that you put on these sites. And let them know some of your favorite pages that you like, where they can find you at.
Okay. Yeah, just find me on Facebook at William Coulter Jr. Pages I like. I don't know. I mean, I don't have no company or nothing. Bluff City Cowboys, that's where it's at.
Appreciate that
part.
Watch every week. Star Gang. I'll watch you too, Star Gang. Love you.
Hey, appreciate it, brother.
Yeah, it was nice meeting all you guys.
All right, William, take it easy, man.
Too, dude.
Yeah, thank you for joining.
Yeah, have a good one.
All right, guys. We're at an hour, and I know all you guys probably got to go. So let me just
warm up. Don't rush me.
I know you are. You're probably go live after.
I got my coffee over here. Got my water. I'm ready.
Yeah. Well, these guys we're at 2.5 hours right now. I don't know if they're used to going that long. So let me throw this question out here.
I'm good though.
All right, Jeff, we'll start with you, and then we'll go counterclockwise again.
Okay.
Looking at this defense, and we're bringing in our DC. You're looking at corner, DT, safety, linebacker. Rank those 1 through 4 in terms of needs with the way we think this defense is going to look.
I would have to say DT is the number one need. If Robinson moves to corner, then safety becomes a need. Then I would say linebacker, and then what was the last one you said? Was it? I guess it would be corner then.
Yeah, corner, DT, safety, linebacker.
Corner would, especially if Robinson moved to corner. Corner definitely moves last. I would go DT, safety, linebacker, then corner.
All right, Mendoza, what you
got? I would have to say corner. I'm all about rebuilding the secondary, and I say corner, then DT, then safety, and then linebacker.
Corner, DT. Okay, so linebacker's the least biggest need, you think?
It's fourth, but it's really close to one.
Okay,
so,
okay. All right, Dominique, what you got for us? And I don't know if you remember that thought you were about to make, but you can go ahead and make that too.
I still got it. I want to let us
all
off.
Right.
Hey, right now, if we have to play a game, we're screwed at cornerback. So for me, that's number one. All because of who are free agents. We don't know who's coming back. You can project and try to figure out who we may try to get and draft and all that. Right now, though, it's cornerback. After that, I'd have to go defensive. No, I had to go safety, actually. Safety with that, then defensive tackle and linebacker. Okay. But if I project out, thinking about what's in free agency, what's in the draft, man, linebacker goes to number 2 for me because of what we've seen out of my boy 54 and 55. So this is interesting, man. It's tough. You can just throw anybody at all 3 levels and it makes sense.
Yeah,
that's true. All right, Nick, what you got for us?
Yeah, man. I mean, it is rough in a lot of different levels. I mean, you have a defense that was at the 31, 32 ranks, right? On top of that, you have a lot of guys that are leaving this football team, and you got to decide who you're going to bring back, who you're not going to bring back. For me, one thing that I look at is as I look at the 4-3 under and how they kind of maneuver and stuff. Boy, in this 4-3 under, they could slide old 54 over there to that old Sam and get him a little bit closer on the edge and on that outside, and where he can just set the edge on the run, rush the quarterback. Or, times we watched George Armstrong drop into the flats. Instead, we got 54 drop into the flat. I feel a lot better about his production and what he can do. But that creates the void right in the middle, because I'm looking at LVE and I'm getting you over here to Will, sir. I want you out of the middle. Now, Sean Lee's probably looking at this scheme saying, this is my kind of party. Boy, I like this scheme. This is what I was built for. Yeah, right. So I mean, that's a thing. But I mean, once you get past those guys, sure, we can talk about Francis Bernard, right? This scheme seems to fit what he does in the cover. Then you think about the KJ Wrights, right? Or you think about the Wagners, right? Francis Bernard's kind of built in a fast linebacker, that 220, 230, get back in coverage and do things. But we ain't seen him really on the field a whole lot yet. So, and we saw Joe Thomas for what it is with Joe Thomas. Yeah. Luke Gifford, we didn't get to see him this year. So, yeah, I mean, the linebacker room, you look around, hey, it's a little rough, and then we get to the defensive line, right? So, hey, who do you have there, right? I mean, if we're talking about contractual, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Woods is gone. He's coming back from an injury. Now you got Gallimore. Then you got some guys. Yeah, you got Justin Hamilton. You got the kid that you traded from Houston who was a former 7th round pick, and that's about where you're at. Then safety, I guess, about the only safety we got on the roster right now is Wilson. So I mean, if we're going from contractual wise, safety would have to be 1. D tackle have to be 2. I think linebacker have to be 3, and then corner, because at least at corner, I have Anthony Brown, right? Have Diggs. I have a candidate coming back, right? And we're going to say Reggie Robinson is going to be there. So contractually, I would put him 4th just off of the contractual, because as my guy Dom just said, how we're going to project this thing and look at it, then we got to look and see who's on, who's going to be here on the roster. Now, as we move forward and how this thing's going to work out, I do believe, the one thing we could say, irregardless of how we agree or disagree or anything about how they handle free agency, the Cowboys, especially for the past, I would say 3 to 4 years, have done a great job of covering all their bases. So once they get to the draft, for the most part, they're not pigeonholed into taking just anything. So we know there's going to be some signings coming, some things are going to happen. Look at the Maurice Claiborne, right? We did pick up his 5th year option contract, came up. We got him on a 1-year deal. Then he left. Well, look at Cheeto. He played 4 years. Okay, contract's up. Couldn't get the 5th year because he was a 2nd round pick. Sounds like maybe a 1-2 year deal. You can get him back, see what happens. Cover your bases. Defensive tackle, we'll see where they cover their bases. Antoine Woods probably going to come back, right? He's going to be on a reasonable deal. Cover your bases at the 1 tech. And then linebacker, though. See, linebacker, now we got to say, oh, you got to go into free agency. When you look at safety, man, I don't want no parts of Xavier Woods, ladies and gentlemen. Let me get him all the way up out here, all 70% of him. Unless you get out for sure dip into free agency on that front, So it's just one of those things of, we want to see them be proactive in, the first couple of days of free agency to cover this thing. But if we're talking about just contractually, man, it's got to be safety, defensive tackle, linebacker, cornerback.
I'm right there with you too. And I'm looking at it just as in terms of level of importance and what I think the scheme is. The safety is the most important position in this cover 3, because he has to hide. The free safety has to cover up all those flaws deep. Deep middle is very important in this game. Yeah, and then you got the strong safety. His running responsibilities grow a lot, and then he has to help out with those corners who have to bail. So those safeties become very important. People talk about Cam Chancellor as a big hitter, but his covering skills were underestimated. He carried some tight ends down the field.
Yeah, especially tight ends, I was going to say. Especially against tight ends. And Donovan Wilson can do that for you. Like I said, Donovan Wilson will be your quote-unquote Cam Chancellor. Okay, you're going to look at D-Law. He's going to be basically your Michael Bennett, right? Little inside, little outside, right? Then you look at the Leo position. That's where we'll get Bradley Adair on the field finally. Yep. And you'll see Randy Gregory if they bring back Alden Smith as well. And we get maybe Jalen Smith over there on that old strong side, that old Sam, a little bit closer. And kind of the one thing that I do like, guys, is this. And I'll pitch this to y'all. Yes, Bernard is fast. That's what he does best. He's a coverage corner. I'll dial him up from Utah. A coverage linebacker, excuse me. The one thing that I begged as soon as the season ended, the one thing that I begged for was I wanted clarity from this front office. I wanted us to see, to the rest of the world, not just us, to be ran like an efficient NFL team. Okay, the defense was bad, you got rid of it, right? They said they couldn't teach. That's what we heard all year. You couldn't really teach well. That's what we heard. They brought in guys that are known to teach. One caveat about Mr. Joe Witt Jr. He turned to Sam Shields, right? He turned to Trayvon Williams. He turned those guys into Pro Bowlers. I get it. Green Bay, long time ago, fair enough. Which means he has some familiarity with Harris, which is why Harris is probably going to stay on the staff. Okay, and the one thing about Witt is, about DQ is he's also thought of as a teacher, right? So they're bringing guys that can teach the position as well as coach. Okay, so we're clear cut. We know right now on January 14th, we know right now what team we're running, what we're doing, and automatically, regardless of what's on this team, we are better because there's no guesswork. We know we have a clear cut plan from right now all the way to August to get this thing right. Now, the big bugaboo in the room is you got to go get Dak done. Get him done. Don't tag him and then say, well, we would have signed some guys a free agent, but we tagged Dak so we couldn't spend no money. Get him done. Yeah. Be clear, be concise in what you're doing this offseason. I think the Cowboys are off to a good start with getting out Nolan. Hey, look, and that's a change of pace for them, right? Coach 1 year, hey, sir, you got to go. They're bringing somebody else, right? So we're on a good path. We just got to get the Dak deal done, and I think some of these things will fall into place. And maybe, just maybe, we'll get a wish of a May or a Simmons here in free agency.
Okay.
I agree.
Definitely. You
maybe.
Great. I have a question.
Go ahead, Mendoza.
In regards to the free agent cornerbacks with Jordan and Cheeto, most seem to want Cheeto back. But I know there's another free agent corner that's coming out of Green Bay that I believe Joe Witt worked with for maybe, I think, a year, and that's Kevin King. Would you guys be interested in Kevin King at all?
Dominic's face says he has to go first.
All right.
Okay,
Jeff will let you go.
So I followed Kevin King quite a bit in his draft, and then since his entry into the NFL, I followed him because of what my notes said about him when he was a prospect, and he is disappointed severely in Green Bay. You don't want any of that. Yeah, you don't want any of that.
Jeff, what about you?
Just
I agree with Don. I mean, I was on the Kevin King, Marcus. I think we were watching that draft together, and when Kevin King was there, we were screaming at the TV for them to draft him, and of course, we didn't.
I don't know if you remember that one well, Jeff. I don't know if you remember that one well. I want the tackle from Alabama.
Well, wasn't it the Buda Baker draft?
That was I wanted Buda Baker. Yeah.
That was the same draft we watched. But anyway, I don't. It definitely wouldn't be. That would be a last resort type pick. I mean, signing if we had to do it. I personally think we're going to bring Cheeto back just because of the disrespect that Jordan Lewis feel that we've shown him over the years. I would love to have Jordan. I would actually like to have both of them back and then cheer up some other spots. But I think Cheeto will be the one that can come back because I don't think he'll get a big deal in free agency. But Jordan Lewis, he's definitely gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think Jordan Lewis wants no parts in Dallas anymore. I've said for years, I get it. He's 5'10". To me, Jordan Lewis was an outside corner, not a slot corner. I just think his skill set fits him, bodes well for him out there. I think he wants a chance to go play on the outside. And then two, like one of my guys that I like. Yeah, a chance to start. One of the guys that I do like in Asante Samuel Jr., and I'm like, well, I don't know if the Cowboys are looking at him because he don't fit the 6-foot rule. So, there's a safety over there in TCU who's 5'8", so he don't fit the 6-foot rule. So,
well, neither does Elijah Molden then.
I mean, we'll have to see what these guys think. But we've been on the 6-foot rule here for a while, so I don't know if that's going to change. It's something we can look at when we talk about these drafts and then we get into these mocks and different things. Are the Cowboys really going to change that perspective of, all right, look, this guy's worth taking, even though he's not 6 feet.
Yeah. When I look at Washington that year, honestly, he was the third best corner on that team. I thought behind Sidney Jones and Budda Baker, he was the third guy. I was shocked he went in the first round, honestly. I think that whole secondary was hype, kind of like what you see with LSU quite often. Before we go on, somebody else put a question in the comments. Brandon Boyce. He says William Jackson, the third cornerback from
Cincinnati,
Houston.
Right? Oh,
yeah,
no, Houston. Yeah.
No, he played college at Houston.
Yeah. Cincinnati. Okay, I was like, wait, maybe you got traded.
I watched a ton of college, so when I see a guy, I always go back to where he played in college.
Fair enough.
He plays for Cincinnati, and he is a free agent. So, Dominique, I saw you doing the money sign. You think he's going to be too expensive for us?
Yeah, he might be the top guy in
Really?
the whole free agency market. Yeah, he's going to be one of the top 3 guys.
Let me go scan free agent corners.
Yeah, go scan them. I think what Cincinnati's going to do is kind of like my boy Dalvin Tomlinson's going to do with New York Giants. Is he may be a guy that they want to bring back, but also, he may want just to change the scenery. So I might want to see, will they try to do something as far as tagging him? I don't know. I don't think the Cowboys have the capital to go out and spend it on him if you're definitely going to let a guy like Byron Jones walk because you didn't want to pay a guy top corner money. And I get it, the interceptions, the lack of turnovers, yada, yada. But you had a guy who was sticky who could definitely be a CB1 for the team. I just don't know if they go that route. One person that interests me, and nobody talks about this guy, and I don't know why. His first 2 years, he was fire. And then this third, fourth year, they kind of changed it up on him, wanted him to play more of a free safety, but really he was a slot guy. He was an all-pro in 2018.
Are you talking about Desmond King?
Yeah,
Desmond King.
That's my guy.
That's my guy.
Yeah.
What are people first him sliding in the draft like he did out of Iowa? It's like this dude's balling. Like, what am I missing for him to be falling like that? Then he gets into the league, balls out. If you like PFF, great, whatever. They got pretty good ratings on him in his first couple of years. Whatever you want to do with that. But just watching him, he's a baller. And now he's doing okay with Tennessee, but they got him playing free safety.
Yeah.
But that's really not.
Yeah,
they traded for him this year.
Yeah, I mean that was the thing. But that was the thing to him coming out of college was: is he a corner? Is he a safety? Is he a corner? Is he a safety? What was one of the things about it? I loved him coming out of college as well, and I thought he could play corner in the league for a while, and I think eventually he was going to go to safety. But I'm with you. I didn't think he would go to safety this soon.
I agree.
I still think he has cornerback legs, if you will, underneath him. So, I'm a fan. I'm a fan of Desmond's for sure.
Yep. And then thinking about sliding back to the safety spot, you asked us earlier, Marcus, what kind of backup, lesser name as far as, getting outside of that top 5 of the safeties that's flooding the market at that top. Malik Hooker, young guy, still traits. He's had some couple of seasons where he's finally staying on the field.
Right.
But yeah, that early career hurt a lot. And remember, I follow the Colts. That's my second team I follow. I know about him. I think they might even want to try to keep him on a 1-year deal. It's going to be one of those types because that's what teams do now. They either want you for a 1-year deal or a 3-year deal if you're like a Cheeto. They don't really do 2 years and 4 years with these types of guys. Nobody really does a 2-year deal. That's more of a extension whenever the guy's still on his rookie deal. But Carl Joseph, another one. I know fans know the name. They talk about him a lot. Those would be the 3 that you kind of think. Lesser names, still got the traits. What do you do with them?
What about
let me throw. I was going to say, go ahead, Mendoza.
What about Real Redmond? I seen Real Redmond as a free agent too, and I know Joe Witt worked with him, I believe, for like a year or 2.
I'm cool. I'm cool personally.
It would be in a backup role. It certainly wouldn't be a starter.
Fair.
I still think we could do better than that. Nick,
Let me throw a
That's
name.
fine. Just
Yeah, so let me throw a name at you. Let me throw a name at you, right? You got some ties. I'm gonna throw a name that's got some ties. Okay. And Demarius Randall.
I actually have that name circled.
yeah.
That's a guy's got some ties to Joe Witt. He'll be a free agent, still on the other side of 30. Barely, he's 29, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So, I mean, you got a Demarius Randall, and no one's really brought up a Tart out of San Francisco. What do y'all think about Tart from San Francisco at free safety?
I think he may be brought back.
Yeah, personally, I don't think he'll get out of San Francisco. I'm kind of on the same. I'm kind of on the same.
San Francisco has like 8 free agent cornerbacks, I believe.
8.
I think.
You're right.
Yeah, that's insane.
And they're going to lose to DC. It looks like to the Jets.
Yeah, it looks like I've seen that D'Amico Ryans. I've seen.
Yeah, hold on. They're losing the DC, and he's bringing the passing game guy over there for his offensive coordinator position as well. So San Francisco's coaching staff's getting gutted a little bit. I saw that right before I clocked out at work tonight.
Yeah.
Okay, well, if they want to give us Fred Warner and stuff, then that's fine.
Sure. Come on down. But yeah, I mean, another name as well. I'm sure you already talked about him. If I did, fair enough. Marcus Williams at 24. I don't think New Orleans is going to be able to bring him back.
No.
All right. You good? You cool?
No, they can't bring him back. I don't.
Yeah. Marcus. I mean, right. And look, if you're going to spend money on a guy, he's the right age, right? He was 23, 24, 25, right? 24. Okay, 24, right? So I mean, that's a guy that you can give him that 4 or 5 year deal, right? If you can, and you're going to get the best of his football ahead of him. Another name to kind of look at.
As long as we don't have to play Stephon Diggs, we all right.
There you go. There you go.
Still in my head.
So I know we're about to get ready to close out, but I want to ask Nick a question. Since I brought this up earlier and Nick's wasn't on. So real quickly, Nick. So let's say we move Reggie Robinson back to corner, we bring Cheeto back, and we draft a corner in the first round. Would you toy with the idea of letting Cheeto play free?
No.
Okay.
I am through with that daggone let's do this, move that tweener.
Yeah.
No. But here's the other thing.
Just want to get your other
thing. If we're getting Cheeto and Robinson in corner, it tells me I don't have to draft the corner at 10.
That's a good point. I agree with that.
I'm just saying. Look. If I can't talk you into pits, okay. If I can't talk you, I can't put my Infinity Gauntlet on and put the last dadgum. If I can't do that, can I talk you into an offensive lineman?
Dominique, I know you can.
Yeah.
You ain't got to talk me into an offensive lineman. I'm already there.
Can I talk you into Slater? Can I talk you into Slater? Then
I'm always fine with.
I'm already there.
Yeah, I mean, here's my thing, guys. And here's my case in point. I know people on Twitter probably think Nick's is crazy. Look, he's got team pits and 10. The only thing I'm trying to preach to people is this simply. We took offense in the first round last year, right? And we went and got 2 guys to help this defense this year, right? In Diggs and in Gallimore. Right? Bradley and they, we have to wait and see some. We got something in our offense, but we got to wait and see on Reggie Robinson. But the bulk of these defensive prospects are in rounds 2 through 4, guys. We have 5 picks. How about get aggressive, turn those 5 picks into 2 seconds and a third, and give me 3 players on defense in those 2 rounds, okay? Because
all night,
right? Because if you're looking at 10, there's not a Chase Young here, okay? There's not a Jalen Ramsey here. There's not an Aaron Donald here. There's not one of these guys you look at like, okay, this guy transforms my defense day one. Like he's going to be that guy. And now you're starting to hear even things about, I was like, well, maybe Parsons, if he's at 10. Now you're starting to hear maybe he's not mature enough yet. He's not ready for the league. And boy, you don't want this shine of the star on you if you're not ready.
Oh, that's
hello,
true.
Griffin. Okay, we already saw that. Not everybody, my motto is not everybody's built to play in Dallas. And it's factual because the light hits different. And those are just the facts. So when I look at 10, either you got to bring me Pitts or Slater, or I'm team trade down, because there's not a guy when I'm looking at corner. If you're going to press me to take a corner, like you just say, Knicks, we're taking a damn corner.
Oh, you don't.
Come on the horn train. Come on the horn.
I was just about to say that, Jill.
Come on the horn train.
I'm more horn.
The horn train.
I'm for sure more horn than Surtain. 1 and 2. The only thing that would give me pause is Fairley's ceiling is very high, and he's 6'3", and he's got length. I don't like the fact that he didn't play last year, but his ceiling is pretty high. But again, I don't want to sit here and tell you just draft Cheeto. We got Cheeto in the second round, right? I mean, I just don't want to sit here and say Cheeto at 10. Whenever I can get a Slater who's a 10-year starter possibly, or I can go get Pitts and really ramp this offense up, and I can still go in the second and third round and help this defense. Steven, open the wallet. Go in free agency. Help goddamn Quinn out.
All right, guys. You guys see this has been some great discussion. If you have any more questions or topics you want to put out there, be sure to put them out there. If not, we're probably going to close this thing down in about 10 or 15 minutes. So if you got anything you want to talk about, let's put it out there. So let's keep the convo going. Now, we've talked about – oh, go ahead, Mendoza. I saw you had a comment or a question.
Oh, I was just going to talk about the Cheeto position switch and stuff like that.
Go ahead.
I know that's something that Dan Quinn did over there in Atlanta with Ricardo Allen when they got him out of Purdue.
Yeah.
He was just a small corner, and they converted him to safety. And they did the same thing with KZ out of San Diego State and Brian Poole. So I don't know if that's something, if they do keep Cheeto.
They played KZ at safety at 175.
Yeah, they did. Don't ask me why they did it, but they did it. But I'm just curious if they do bring Cheeto back, if that's something they would do with him, or if, like I said, I do hope they keep R2 at corner, but maybe that's something they would consider with him. I don't know. That's just something I wanted to bring up.
Let me ask you a question, Mendoza. Do you, if you're moving Cheeto to safety, you think he's a free safety? You think he's rangy enough to be a free safety?
No, I don't want to see Cheeto at safety at all. That's just
right.
something I feel.
Yeah,
like
no, I'm just asking. Do you think? No. I hear you. I was just thinking because I mean, to me, even if you move Cheeto to safety, to me, he's a box guy. I don't think he can be. I don't think he'd be a center fielder. So again, it's back to, man, you're causing more issues than solving issues at that point.
Agreed.
So now, but I will say what you did say there, Mendoza, which is key. Pay attention to this draft. We bring that up with them and what they did. We might see some of those things like, okay, let's talk about the corner from OSU, right? Man, he might be more of a safety than he is a corner. So if you see them go draft him at corner, it says, oh, look, hey, no. Mr. Wade, it says corner by your name, Mr. Wade. However, you're coming to play safety. So that's a good, that's a draft gem you just dropped on folks there.
I love him as a slot corner in this game.
Yeah, that reminded me when I was in a building on draft night up in Dallas or up in Arlington, and we're sitting in that stadium and you get to pick 50, whatever it was, and we take Connor Williams. I was excited. Fans in the room, ooh, other fans laughing at us. And then I was at my buddy and I was like, hold on, wait. They just announced him as a guard? Oh, dang. So, man, if we were to get Wade in the second round and they announce him as a corner.
You mean safety?
No, hold on.
Okay.
If they announce him as a corner, I'd be like, oh, crap. If they announce him as a safety, I'd be like, okay, but dang, I don't want no part of Wade.
Yeah, I don't want no parts of Sean Wade.
But I'm saying from the standpoint of them drafting the guy and moving him, and you can see that. And speaking of Connor Williams, boy, you're not going to re-sign him. Boy, his stock is not going to get any higher. He just had his best year. Maybe you should go ahead and flip him.
Yep.
Yeah.
Him and Schultz, man, give me more defensive ammo.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Lamar said,
Lamar, let's talk about what do you want to talk about, Dak? Let's talk about Dak. Jeez Louise.
We'll get another 2 hours and screaming at each other.
There's nothing to talk about. It's sign Dak. That's it.
Sign him, move on.
Yeah.
And the sooner,
don't play with it.
All right, Mendoza.
The sooner, the better.
Let me throw this question to you because we've been talking a lot of DT safety. We didn't talk about linebackers much. So let me throw a free agent name out there. Has some familiarity with this scheme. I don't think he's going to sign back with his team, but he's a little long in the tooth. And that's KJ Wright from Seattle. KJ. What do you think about us looking at a guy like that and bringing him, put him in that wheel spot and keep Jalen at that Sam?
I think that would be like ideal. Someone that knows the system, someone that can come in and help these guys to understand the system and, help LVE, Jalen, and just the rest of the linebacker core to be better at their craft. I think that would be, I'm on board with that for sure.
Jeff, what do you think?
Oh, I'm in total agreement with it. I mean, you provide that leadership, you provide depth, a teacher, as they said earlier, a coach on the field. Oh yeah, why not do it?
Dominic, you on the same board with him?
Yeah, I'm right there. Bring him on.
Now,
As soon as you were saying that, I was thinking about the Sam Cooke song. Bring it on home to me.
Bring it on home to me.
Come on.
Now, Seattle did play him at Sam more than Will last year. Is that concern you, Kyle?
No.
Their defense was trash, so no.
Good point.
How about this one? How about let's bring back the guy that played that system that was a former Super Bowl MVP that we shouldn't have let out the door, Malcolm Smith.
Malcolm Smith.
Yeah. He's still playing right now.
Yeah, he's still playing ball right now. I mean, he only signed a 1-year deal. He played good ball for us. He knows the system. You can bring him in, plug and go day one, not going to cost you a ton of money. And when he was here with Chris Richard, played pretty damn well off the street.
He played really well.
Yeah, very well, yeah.
Nick, you still think he's got enough on to play that wheel though?
Hey, man.
I want Jalen at Sam.
For me, the only way this makes sense, and I said, the thing about Dan Quinn was not only did, it matches what we do best, it also helps players. Again, and that's my biggest thing with Dan Quinn. And I put the list of star gang and I listed them down. And number one was Marvin Lewis, and number two was Dan Quinn. I did it for a reason. Those are my top two guys I wanted to see come to Dallas because I think it helps. Not only does it help by scheme wise, it helps what we do best. It can help Jalen be the best Jalen he can be. It helps us see Bradley and I get onto the field finally in that Leo position because they have they're not going to let him put his hand in the dirt. Obviously, we saw that all year. They're just not going to let him get out there and do that. And with that, and with this 4-3 under bare front, you get this guy standing up. You can get Bradley and I involved and see what he can do. So I think it worked a lot of ways. Does it create an issue as we talked about earlier about linebacker? Sure. And now we're talking about the KJ Wrights, Malcolm Smith. You go draft maybe the guy Spooney, a Zay Collins, right? You go maybe Collins. You go maybe find a way to go get him out of Tulsa, But yeah, yeah, for sure. I'm completely on board with bringing those guys in here because I think again they don't impede your progress from drafting somebody, right? And it fits the mold of hey, get this guy in here, help them teach this scheme and whatnot. As Jeffrey was just talking about, give us some good snaps. And oh, hey, by the way, we got this young buck coming along right underneath you to eat up and learn what everything that you're putting down. So I'm with KJ Wright. I mean, he might be looking for another big payday before he gets up out this game. We'll have to wait and see on that, and if we're willing to pay that for him, right? And then on the backside of that, Malcolm Smith is something. You have to believe at a certain point Dan Quinn's going to bring in somebody that he's coached prior in this thing, whether it's a camp body or not, wherever the level is of what we think they're going to play for this team, just to help with the transfer of scheme to players on the field through their eyes and what they see.
Okay. Yeah, I also feel voids and free agency too, so that way when you go to the draft, you're not pressed to take any position. You can take either best available or take a position that you really, really need or that you want to get younger at. So I'm all for stuff like that.
Okay. Let me ask this question. It's not a Cowboy question. I'm just curious, Dominique. Why don't you like Cisco? That's been bothering me all night. What do you like about Cisco?
All right, wait. I gotta turn it back and go to you. What is it that you see that he does exceptionally well, where it can also then translate over into the NFL? Because that's where I looked at his game and I go, okay, I see what you do really well, but you remind me of my high school me when I was dominating in high school. Okay. But that's perfect for the high school level. Right. But I don't see that translating over into the college level, the collegiate level. So I'm looking at him and I see a guy in space that kind of does the road runner. Them legs are doing something, but he ain't going nowhere at first. It's just a cloud of dust. I don't see a guy who can flip the hips and just get on his horse and go. Everybody talks about the ball production because they see the interceptions, but did you really see how he got those interceptions? They were gifts. just right into his hand.
Deep middle and coming downfield.
I didn't see it. I didn't see it.
I saw tip balls. I saw a guy who stayed deep, read the field, and got over there in time to get to the ball. That's what I saw.
I think he has great angles personally. Now we can talk about hip fluidity and how fluid he is in his hips, and there might be something there to that, Dom. I agree with you there somewhat to a certain extent.
I agree with that too.
I'll agree with that some, but I think his mindset and his angles are pretty damn good. Again, if his hips were better, he's probably a high second, early first, and because of those things with his hips is why he's going to slide down a little bit. But I think, depending on what range we're talking about drafting him, I think he's a good prospect just because of, one thing we talked about these safeties forever. Boy, they just think the angles. What are those? Bruh, they failed geometry. I don't know what they're talking about. And at the end of the day, the one thing I say about Cisco, I think he takes great angles, and I think that's his mind more. And I agree with you. I think it's his mind more so than his body, because I do agree. A little stiff in the hips at times. I do agree with that for sure.
I agree with that too. But when I'm looking at a deep middle safety, I want a guy that's smart. Like one thing, I want you to pay attention to this, because you like Morig, right, for TCU?
Mayrick, yeah.
Mayrick. That's what you like?
Yeah, I like him. I like him as far as being the top guy in this safety class.
Go look at some of the he took on runs. I'm just going to put it out there.
I just don't like the safety class.
I mean, I don't either. I think Cisco's
fair.
The best of the class.
Completely fair.
More of a reason for the Knicks to pound the table for Justin Simmons.
Come on, open up that book, because it ain't. That's the thing that I hate about this draft the most is, man, the two biggest things we need: one tech, safety, free safety. Man, it's just not there. And we're getting pressed now because, man, I'm telling you, man, boy, Cowboys Nation has been on my ass today. And this defense was horrible. Oh my God, we just gotta take defense at 10. And I'm like, yeah, okay. That's how you end up with a Bobby Carpenter. That's how you end up with a taco. Oh yeah, that's how you end up with a taco. These things happen whenever you just draft a guy, man, you get burnt, and like, don't do it. And look, we could. Would y'all agree with this? Let me ask y'all this question, guys. We could take we got 10 picks this draft. Is that what it is? Yeah. Okay. We could take all 10 picks, draft up the defense. Realistically, is this defense really that much better than it was last year? Is it fixed overnight because we took 10 guys in the draft?
No.
I'm still looking at picks 2nd through 4th round to be the ones that produce the most.
You have to hit. We can't gamble on injury guys. We can't gamble on character guys. You have to hit 2 through 4. I need those 5 picks to turn into 2 seconds and a third. That's what I need.
Yeah.
That's what I need to do. I don't need them just to be, aggressive in free agency more so than they have been in the past. I need them to be aggressive in the draft and go get the guys that they need. Now, look, and they tried to be aggressive last year, right in the second round. They tried to trade up to go get Diggs. Unfortunately for them, they wasn't able to, and Diggs ended up falling in their lap, which is great. But on the same token, that was last year. Put it to bed. I need Jerry Jones in a mink fur coat in the 90s on the sidelines of free agency to go get me a defensive tackle and a free safety in this thing. And then I need Jerry Jones on the yacht like he was last year during the draft to make this draft thing happen again like it did last year. Now, what do we play? A third place schedule. So, yes, theoretically, not as on paper, not as hard competition. So the defense automatically should do better because it's weak competition. But if we're talking about the end goal in this run in 21 to get to 6, well, when you get to the playoffs, you can't hide.
Yeah,
you can't hide behind the schedule. There
you go.
We got the AFC West though, so it's not going to be that easy.
Woo! Ooh, let me drink water on that one.
Yeah. Hey, let me say this:
we're going 3-1 against that division. Book it.
I like it. Talk that talk.
Hold on a second.
Bold predictions.
About as bold as they come, right there. 3-1 against the West.
Yes.
3-1 against the West.
Let me put this out there real quick.
Against the one loss will be the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wild guess.
Nix and Jeff, you guys can join in, but I know Dominique and Mendoza really follow this draft stuff. It's not a lot of people that I'll say watch as much college and understand as much as I do than Mendoza and Dominique. So kudos to you guys. Let me put this out there for the people who are watching. Is there any guy who you think could be late first, early second that the average fan hasn't caught up to yet? Because Dominique, you on Slater since the first time I saw you on a post. I've been on him too, but I still think he's a guard. But you've been on him top 10 tackle. Any guy?
I don't know about. I think most of draft Twitter is pretty much on to your first round name guys. And I'm going to let Mr. Mendoza go because I put a list out and I'm trying to find it of guys that I think people are sleeping on. They don't know him yet.
You got one name, Mendoza, that you think may go in the first that the rest of the fans haven't caught up to yet?
I don't know about first.
Or early second. Top 50.
Top 50?
I saw somebody put Cisco in the third round. I almost ended the
Cisco in the
live.
third round? I don't know about it.
Yep. But yeah, Mendoza, what about
I can't think of any particular name.
What about the Florida State
no
safety?
names.
People are kind
The
of
Florida State safety, Hamza?
Nazruddin.
Nazruddin, yeah. I think he's a third round. If he goes any higher, I'll be surprised myself. But
okay. So Dominic,
anything, Asante.
Yeah,
I think Asante could go higher than people probably. I think people think maybe he's like in the beginning of the second round, but I'll honestly not be surprised if he goes in the first.
I wouldn't be either. It won't. The height won't scare somebody. It didn't scare them on Adoree Jackson 3 years ago or 4 years ago.
Right.
Big facts. Big facts.
But Dominique, I know you got you said you had a list. Just give me one or two names that.
Yeah. My names are just blanking on me right now.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Hold on. I gotta find my board.
All right. Well, Nick's Jeff. I don't know if you guys are as much in the draft.
I mean, for me, I think Nixon out of Iowa,
okay,
at defensive tackle. Yeah. I mean, when you talk about this draft class, right, and we're talking about the lack of defensive tackles and whatnot, what he's been able to do, I think that's a guy that could slide up the board some. I know early on he was kind of projected around, at the very beginning around a third. I think I've seen here recently he's kind of slid into like the lower half of the second. Would not surprise me to see him climb up the board and be our early second, maybe late first out of Iowa. I mean, there's a couple of things that you can go get from Iowa, and big bodies usually you're good to go for one of those guys. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Nixon go a little bit higher than what people are talking about right now.
I agree with that. Top 10, and now a lot of people are starting to kind of look at him.
Yeah, so
I've seen the same.
So I got my list finally because I posted it just yesterday saying, the talking heads, they finally caught up to guys like Davion Nixon of Iowa, D-tackle, Baron Browning, Ohio State guy.
Yeah.
Been following him since he was high school. Elijah Molden, Wisconsin, or Washington.
Washington, yeah.
Kadarius Toney, Elijah Moore, receiver. Everybody catching those. They get those. But guys that I haven't seen draft Twitter getting on, my top guy is Bobby Brown III from Texas A&M, defensive tackle. He was once a highly touted high school player. Alabama wanted him. He was going to go to Alabama the day before. He flipped, decided to go to A&M, which was a huge recruiting win for them. If you just watch him play, you can kind of see some of that one tech that we really want. It wouldn't surprise me if he goes in the second round. I'd rather have him as a late day 3 or a third round value, maybe with that comp pick. But we know what D tackles do in the NFL. People pick over those pretty early. Yeah. Another guy that folks aren't talking about is a lean trash can full of dirt McNeil from North Carolina State. That's another defensive tackle that I think you would love to see. I think he's better than some of the other names that you've seen thrown out, like the guy that's going back to Georgia.
Yeah.
I think he had a little more flash than Davis. Y'all may not know him. Good third round option cornerback out of Michigan is Ambry Thomas.
That's my guy. That's what I was going to say.
Thomas.
Ambry Thomas, my guy.
Man, that'd be a good cornerback option for the Cowboys. He was another opt-out kid, so it was kind of hard to see would he fix some of the issues that you saw in this game. You wanted to see him just get more snaps and more experience on the outside because in high school he did. You know how these guys are; they're such gifted athletes. So they had him playing a bunch of receiver and quarterback, and he was an athlete. But just stick him on defense, let him do his thing. I liked him. But Tommy Togiai,
Yeah,
any of y'all know that cat?
Yeah, Ohio State.
Oh,
He didn't play in the national championship.
That dude.
I think he had COVID.
He's a monster in the weight room. Just seeing how strong he is, and so if he ends up coming out, I would be highly interested in him. He's a guy that many aren't talking about, but I think he's a talent that's just going to continue to ascend because he's so young, so strong. He looks like a smart, instinctive player.
Yeah.
So I love to see what he could do on the inside.
Okay. Jeff, you got anybody? I don't know if you're as much in the draft as guys like Dominique and Mendoza.
I hadn't got that far in the draft. I'm actually I'm learning and taking down names as y'all talking about them right now, and I'm definitely gonna be looking at some film and stuff.
I'll tell you a guy too, just because when you talk about edge, you can't have enough pass rushers. And I know he's kind of talented looking at that top of the second round. Phillips out of University of Miami would not shock me if he slides into the first round at all.
First round, yes.
Yeah, would not shock me at all because edge is a premium. We know that is in defense. And I mean, you look around this draft, you look at edge, there's not a lot there. I can see Phillips easily going into the first round. I know right now he's kind of slated in that 7 to 15 area on the second round, but I think, you turn on the tape, 6'5", got some bend to him. I think as more people break down that tape and get to him and get to meet with him, I think he's going to be a guy that slides up. I'll be honest with you. I would be shocked to see him go 20 to 25.
I wouldn't.
I think he has a better prospect than Rousseau.
I 100% agree.
Yeah.
Rousseau is projected to possibly go 10. I mean, that'd be crazy if he does. So I mean, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
I think another guy I like is Hamilcar Rashed Jr. from Oregon. I think it's Oregon State.
You told me to go watch him.
I gotta check him out. I'm not familiar with that one. What's the name, Mendoza?
It's Hamilcar Rashed Jr. I believe.
Mm-hmm.
It's a crazy
Oregon
name.
State.
I believe it's out of Oregon State. Yeah, when I first came across him, he was like a mid-round guy. I felt, and he shot himself up. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him go early second. First, I'll be surprised, but early second, I could see it.
All right. Well, let me ask this question then, and then we'll probably get out of here. Is there any guy outside of Rousseau that people are putting in the first round that you're like, I just don't see it?
Quiddy Pay. I'd say Quiddy Pay.
Okay, Mendoza. Is it the T-Rex arms for you?
That, and I don't like any of these edge rushers like that high. Like none of them are Chase Young. So I mean, none of them just scream 10 or 15 to me.
He's running the 4.5 and the 40 though, right?
Oh, he's gonna change some things.
He's gonna run about a high 4.5 at 270. I can see it.
Yeah, I mean, I'll go out there. I mean, I know quarterbacks are in this league, and everyone's talking about quarterbacks and everything. Man, I'm sorry, and I'll have my guy Buddha try to talk him up to me and everything. I just don't see the quarterback from Alabama being a first round pick. I'm sorry. I don't see it. I don't see it. I know man, they are pumping him. They are pumping him up, and you're seeing this all over the place. And Mac Jones is going to end up in the first round and everything. I'm like, man, I'm sorry.
Hey, let's hope it's Washington.
It'll be a
Sure. I mean, what was AJ? What was the kid from Bama? AJ
McCarron.
Yeah,
they're
the same size. They're the same size, and we know what they. I'm good. I mean, if he goes in the first round, I'll be like, well, good luck. That's all I can tell you.
A guy that people are trying to push up right now, Christian Barmore.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly,
I watched his tape today. Oh, let's talk, Dom. Let's talk. Talk to me, Dom. I watched his tape today. Talk to me.
Honestly. He's got the flashes, yes, but consistently throughout the game, he will catch ghost. And you're like, Was he playing on that
Was he on
series?
the
Let me
field?
go back and watch it again. 'Cause, Bama, they're always rotating those guys in. It don't
Yep.
matter. You go back to when they had Jonathan Allen and guys on the line, they're still only
Right.
playing 40% of the snaps. They just rotate. It's NASCAR.
Yeah.
So I look at him and I'm going, man, this dude caught ghost. Where was he? And then all of a sudden, third quarter, boom, he gets the tackle. The TV gets on him. They talk about he's doing all this stuff. And it's like, no, he hasn't. No, he hasn't.
Yeah. No.
So
Pacing himself.
if he gets pushed up in the first
70%
round,
knows it.
yeah, if he gets pushed up in the first round, I'd be fine with that. Because that means somebody else is dropping.
Yeah.
Another guy that I think
Hold on before you
people
get out there,
are.
because I want to talk to you. I want to press you on this real quick because I talked to my guy. He's a Bama guy. We went back and forth today. I said, man, talk to me about Barrymore. Talk to me. So I watched the tape. I want to see what he said. He's like, yeah, flashes, da da da. He's a kid still, blah blah blah. I'm like, okay, because man, I tell you, I was going through the tape and everything. Boy, did you? I know you already watched it. Well, that Ole Miss tape was rough. That Ole Miss tape was rough. I was like, bro, here's what I didn't like. Here's what I didn't like from Barrymore. Boy, as soon as that play's 2 yards away from him,
Done.
he ain't moving. It's a wrap. It's crazy, but you're right, because at times he'll be in the one tech. He'll take on both the split, both and go get the guy. But then, like you said, man, he'll just stand there over the guard and just get pushed back. Yeah, man. Like there's some things to his game. I agree, Don. But boy, I wonder. Here's from what I got to watch. I'm gonna watch some more. I got about half of his games from last year. Boy, the big question mark for him is effort at times, and then you just can't have that if you want to bring him in here, especially to play that one stick for us. But go ahead, who's your other guy?
Well, all right. So go back to 2019, Javon Kinlaw at South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking at him. I wanted to go back and watch him in college to see, okay, what can I learn about this? I watched that Georgia line just mashing South Carolina like it was nothing. And then I was like, well, let me go watch that same line and some of the better lines with Barmore going up against him. Nothing. He had nothing. And so I'm like, when you get into the league and you got some questionable, not character, but you loafing a little bit, you seem a little bit aloof on the sideline. I'm watching him, just his face. Is he in it? I don't know. If you want to match him with Tristan Hill, another guy that we actually have some immaturity issues with, maybe he's grown out of that. It'll be third year in the league. But the other guy is another Bama guy that people are hot or cold on him.
Mosley?
And to me, no.
Moses.
Yeah. Moses Dillon. If he gets pushed up ahead of Surratt or Nick Bolton,
or Collins. Okay,
he definitely ain't going above Collins. But if he go ahead of some of these couple of other guys, even Baron Browning to me, I'm going to be like, all right, great. I'll be like, okay, cool. You just push somebody else closer to us.
Let me say this. If you watch Alabama and you see the running back open on a swing route or the tight end open in the flat, it's because Dylan Moses missed his assignment.
Jalen Smith.
Almost every time. It's like, I don't know what he's looking at.
Oh, ouch back.
You got anything for us? You got anything for us in terms of like a guy you think might people have in the first, but you don't think he's going to be there?
You talking to me?
Yeah.
I didn't. You had cut out one. No,
yeah.
I don't. I'm just listening right now.
Just taking notes.
Yeah,
well,
just taking notes.
I'm glad to see people got Darion Kendrick hype. I don't know if they still consider him a first. I heard a lot of people saying he was a first. And like there's no way. And I'm a Clemson fan.
You know what helped us with him in the last 3 games was what we didn't get afforded with Shaun Wade last year. Shaun Wade entered as the number 1 cornerback and all of that, but you didn't really get to see him be exposed in a position where you really would want him. Yeah. So they tried to put Kendrick on an island and dude got toasted.
Yeah.
So you kind of got to already see what is he really going to look like. And I know he's young at the position. He's another one of those guys that they move out. He was a receiver and all this in high school. But the same problems you saw out of Wade, I saw out of Kendrick the last 3 to 4 games against better talent. And Notre Dame doesn't even have like a speedster, a shifty guy receiver. They're more of those bigger guys. Swaronic was the best receiver they had coming out of Northwestern, a transfer. And if you watch that tape, he was doing Kendrick dirty. When in their first game where Notre Dame beat them and then coming back again, but Notre Dame didn't have the time to throw it in that second game. And so I just didn't. I never saw it in him. You and I both had talked about that before. Of what are they doing? It's all projection.
Yeah,
and I didn't like that one.
Okay. Yeah, I can't add anything to that. I'm just glad you threw Chaz Surratt's name in there because you know I'm high on him right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was looking more into Chaz myself. I think I'm liking what I'm seeing.
He has to play in a 4-3 as a wheel though. His size. I don't know. If
I got one more guy to give y'all as a look out for him in a late first round, and that's Tevin Jenkins, offensive tackle from Oklahoma State.
Mm-hmm.
I gave him and Darisaw, and of course Sewell. They got that bully mentality in them.
Yeah.
And so if you want somebody to go mow over guys in a run game and you really want that mentality, go ahead and look at that guy. He's got some issues. He got a little bit of just a tad bit of stiffness, but he's got the length. He's got the size, the power. You can tell he's a smart guy. He's played the position for quite some time. I like what he was working with. So he's one of the top 5 to 6 tackles in this draft.
Yeah.
He's a pure tackle too.
Have you looked at the offensive tackle from Wisconsin later on? Cole Van Lanen, I believe is his name.
No.
Haven't looked at any Wisconsin either. Yeah.
Huge guy.
Sign him up.
He's a guy that
No, you didn't hear her, Nick.
Huge guy, but no, I haven't seen that one.
No, he's been coached well, and he's strong.
Yeah, he was just someone I would maybe consider late.
I'm like, oh, you're from Wisconsin? Oh, you play offensive line? Sure. Sign on the line.
Bring him on.
Come on, bring him on. Come on. O-line you. O-line you.
Speaking of that, talking about offensive line, another guy I was going to say, I'm not as high on Leatherwood as other people are. I hear people putting him in the first. I have about 3 or 4 tackles ahead of him and probably about 2 or 3 guards ahead of him. So I don't think he's going to go as high as people think.
Hey, look, if it ain't Slater, it's him, man. Talk to me in the 4th round or something. Bro, I look, if I'm not at 10, you can talk me the O-line. After 10, man, holler me in the 4th round. That's where I'm at.
I got
That's where I'm at. That's just where I'm at with it. That's period.
You know, I know you can't always go by history. It's just nice to have the knowledge of what has happened at the tackle spot. Really, if you don't get a tackle, well, most of the tackles in the NFL that are really good, they were first rounders. I mean, you're finding some guys later, but for the most part, it's going to be those first rounders. But this is an interesting draft where you have 2 guys to me that are worth a top 10 pick. The rest, I can argue as, do you even really consider them where they're going to go?
Right. Agreed. Yeah. Agreed. That's why I said if I'm not taking that guy at 10, man, I'm good. Just whatever. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good from there on out. I'm good from there on out. Man, all the defense in the world. Thank you.
All right, guys. Go ahead, Mendoza. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say, I just need this staff to do exactly what they did last year and evaluate and get their guys.
Yeah.
Build this defense. That Legion of Boom defense up in Seattle, those guys weren't high round guys. Those were like 3rd or 4th rounders. Like Richard Sherman was what, like a 5th, 6th rounder? Walter Thurman, Byron Maxwell, and those guys. Those are late round guys. So we need to go and do that. That's what I just want to see us do that. I want to see us build the secondary and get us our own Legion of Boom.
Yeah, we found us in the 6th round. There's a start.
Yeah.
and Donovan. There's a start, right? And you know,
Exactly.
they got him. Obviously, that wasn't this regime per se, but they got us a Gallimore in the third round. Looks to be promising at the 3 tech. And again, I agree, Mendoza. You got to you got to hit on the second and third round on this defensive side of the ball. You know, we got Diggs and Gallimore, but we got to do the same thing this year. You know, we got to hit those things and hit the ground running. Let me ask you all this. I know you're trying to get out of here, Bluff, but I want to ask this real quick. Now, but before they got rid of the coach and everything, and Steve was doing his radio tour before they did the firing and whatnot. You know, and I told everybody last year whenever they cut Jerry McCoy, I told everybody, I said, hey, this is a wink deal. Hey, we're going to cut you, stay close, rehab. We're going to bring you back next year. Do you think now with the change in the coaching staff, do you think Jerry McCoy is still going to get brought back to this team? Or do you think that changes now that Dan Quinn's in the building?
Jeff, we'll let you go first.
I think he's coming back. I still, for what we're going to ask him to do, he's not going to come in and be a 80% snap guy, something like that. He's going to be a rotational guy at best, and we're going to use him for his leadership and, you know, mentoring the younger guys. I definitely think he's going to come back. We're not going to ask him to be the same Jerry McCoy that he was in Tampa, you know. So I think he come back.
Mendoza, I saw you lean up in your chair a little bit like you had a comment you wanted to make. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, I mean, I don't want him back personally, but I feel like they would bring him back. And if he's brought back, I could hopefully basically in the role that Tyrone Crawford just did this past season, to where I don't know, you're just here for what, leadership and maybe 20-30% of the snaps. Like, I need those snaps going to Tristan and Neville. That's just how I feel.
Dominic, which side are you on?
Yeah, you know, the last time we actually saw him playing in the NFL, he was with the Carolina Panthers, which Quinn got the ability to see him up close and personal. And Carolina had him playing way out of position. He was playing some nose, and then he would kick all the way out and play defensive end in that 3-4 front that they were trying to do. And so, you know, being an older guy, longer in the tooth, he's not as quick. He's not as agile as he once was. So just thinking that his best position is the 3-tech position, I don't know if we can just say that, because that's not what he was playing later in his career. And so you need a guy that's a wily vet who's savvy, who knows how to use his hands. I think what Quinn is going to want his defensive tackles to do is, unlike what Marinelli does, is just shooting upfield, hit that gap and go. I think you're going to want to hit the gap, but you're still looking for run first, and then you get after to pressure.
He wants more two gap.
Two gapping. And so I think McCoy still has a little bit in him to do that. I'm not saying, hey, let's bring him back, and I'm pushing for it. If it happens, it makes sense. You see what he's got in camp. You can do a ha-ha. If he ain't got it, you just move on.
Say la vie. What do you think, Bluff?
It's a full house at that 3-tech spot.
Man, talk to him.
The price would have to be amazing for me. Like, I can't do $6 million for what's considered my third 3-tech.
Yeah,
He's going to come in $2 million, maybe some incentives. Other than that, I like these young guys. Tristan Hill's coming up close to the end of his contract. He didn't show us anything season 1. Season 2, he showed us flashes and got hurt.
Yeah.
This needs to be his year. I want to see him take a step, and I want to see him get the opportunities to get as many as possible. Gallimore showed me pretty much what I need to see.
Yeah.
Let's see if we grow on that. I don't need any progress stoppers in there.
There you go, Paul. I was waiting for that hot button. Yeah, he's a progress stopper is what he is.
Agreed.
And we just don't. I mean, again, I know the wink and Steven said and everything else, but I'm like Dan Quinn. I'm like, Dan Quinn, don't do it. Boy, that stove's hot. Don't do it. Don't bring him in. Sure, camp body to cut him if you want to do that, I guess. But, man, go sign somebody. Get Antoine Woods back in here. Go catch you a guy and roll with the deck that way. Go get a guy that's going to matter. Because, to me, Jerry McCoy might have mattered last year. To me, going forward with this defense and getting Hill back, we saw Gallimore. I just don't think – I just find it hard to find a place where I say, okay, McCoy's a difference maker for this defense moving forward. Yeah. And back to what Bluff said, I was one of the ones to come out. Knew he wasn't going to let me down. Progress stopper. is what it sounds like to me, man.
And on top of that, we still got Rondale Carter. He can play some 3-tech if we absolutely
And
need
this
him.
and this is another guy that this
and
defense
Ladarius
fit
Hamilton?
very well. Yep, Hamilton. Yep,
Ladarius
big
Hamilton.
facts.
Yeah, so
Big facts.
we got
I'm curious how Azur Kamara would fit in that Leo role.
Hey man, we'll see.
I don't
Hey
know.
man, you know me. Team Jelks, bring him back. Put him in that Leo role.
Ooh,
I ain't never
Team
letting it
Jelks
go.
for sure.
I was Team Jelks, baby. I'm still Team Jelks over here. I hate that
Still
they cut
Team
my
Jelks.
guy. He was Jason Taylor 2.0. Damn it.
Jason Taylor
Yes.
with no juice.
Oh, they just didn't give him the right spot. Now we got the Leo position. Bring him on back. Nah.
Oh man, you see him in college. I just knew that the Jelks thing wasn't going to be it.
hey, they played
I
him
was
in Nose
hoping.
Tackle at Oregon.
What's up?
They played him in
I don't
Nose
watch him
Tackle
at
at Oregon.
Oregon's dumb.
Did they? Oh
What
man,
did
that's
they-
crazy. I remember
Yeah.
seeing him on the end, but damn.
Oregon is Oklahoma West with their defense.
Oklahoma,
That's
the
a good
Pacific
comparison.
Northwest.
That's a really good comparison.
It's like, what are y'all doing to these dudes, man? Like, it
Just
don't
let
make
me out.
sense. Like the safety, what's the safety that they have that everybody is just slobbering over?
Holland.
Javon Holland.
Yeah. Go watch him.
Yeah,
I don't even
remember
know
the
what
safety
position
that
he's
we had
playing.
from. I remember we had a safety from Oregon a few years ago. That wasn't. I don't think it was drafted. I think it was like Robinson or something. I liked that kid, but they never played him.
Yeah.
I'm sorry with your feelings at the end, Nix. I like Jelks too, but
I hate y'all. I hate all y'all.
Charles Harris is someone I think
Jalen
that they would
Jelks,
maybe
damn it.
bring
Bring him
into
back.
that Leo role.
you know I like Missouri guys at the end.
Well,
Yeah,
the
I think
Missouri
he's
guys,
somebody
how
that
the
would bring.
Missouri guys are able to be paid it out though.
They have it.
But hey, hey,
Yeah.
man, hey, everybody deserves another chance, right?
All right, so we're at over 2 hours now, so we got to get out of here. I know for Mendoza it's 12:30, so I appreciate you sticking with us.
Yeah,
Dominic,
you're
are
good.
you at Eastern time too?
No, I'm Central.
All right, well,
Central,
I
baby.
definitely got to thank Mendoza for sticking with us this long. It's been over 3 hours. So before we go, Mendoza, let them know where they can find you at, what pages you frequent, where they can find all those good comments that you put up there.
Okay, yeah, you can find me at on Facebook at Elazar Mendoza, and you can find me at Twitter at ohmyword88, and some of my favorite pages, obviously the Cowboy Zone, Bluff City Cowboys, Star Gang, freaking Late
Supermod
Night Hype,
Mendoza.
and of course, all the the mothership Dallas Cowboy podcast, Draft Show, Players Lounge, Hanging with the Boys. Those are all good content.
Yeah. Definitely. Oh, okay, Jeff. They see you in the comments. Let them know if they want to find where you post at. Where can they find you on social media?
Well, you can find me. Say I'm on YouTube Live. Follow the Cowboy Zone. Off Facebook right now, but I'll probably be making a move to get back on there a little bit in the future. I follow the Star Game. I watch the podcast. I put it like this. One of my favorite parts of Star Game is to get Spoonie going. And Nick's, when Nick's light that fire, he just sit back and let it burn. If y'all want to hear a good laugh, just let Spoonie get on one of his tangents and just sit back and enjoy the show.
Just bring up the safety position.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
say the safe position. Yeah, he'll go on.
Jeff selling himself short. He also provides content to another podcast on Block Party ATL.
I wouldn't done.
Okay, yeah, I'm familiar with that.
Block Party ATL Wednesday night at 7:00. So if you want to check him out whenever they start back, you can catch him on there as well. All right, Dominique, let them know where they can find you at, because you put out a lot of good stuff that people really need to see.
Man, I'm just a little nerd in the comments on everybody else's videos and posts. And so I'm just one of the guys who become an admin in a group of almost 2,000 folks over on the Cowboys, Dallas Cowboys War Room. And so you can look into that group. We always try to push the content of guys like BJ Nix and Marcus here. And so we definitely want to show them some love and support. And so we want to push y'all. And so all I want to do is follow what you guys do, jump in, chime in, help you out. But yeah, follow us over there.
All right, Nix, once again, let them know where they can find you at.
Hey, man. Hey, it's simple, man. Under there, your _guy _Nick, man. Come follow me on Twitter and catch these mean hooks. And we talk about this offense and pits and 10 in these streets. On top of that, obviously, Star Gang is the group where we just crossed over 3,000 strong. We got the page as well. Like and follow the page. And, man, you already know the struggle, this YouTube struggle, man. Stargate Podcast, man. Go hit that sub. Go ahead and hit that notification bell somewhere down there. How y'all do, man? We're trying to get up over 500 before we get to next season. Man, we're about to go to our third season doing the Stargate thing. Me, Mary, Ella, and Spoonie, man. It's been a hell of a ride. We've had a good time doing it, man. My guy Mendoza's a super mod over there, man. Shout out to Mendoza. Shout out to Buddha as well, man. Bluff, man. I can't thank you enough, man, for having me on. You always slide through, friend of the show, and come through and drop that knowledge. Don, man, it's good talking to you. I've definitely seen your comments before and everything, man. It was great chopping it up with you. I'm definitely going to check out that ATL block party. Sounds like my kind of party, Jeff. So that sounds like my kind of party. So I need to check in and see what's going on there so I can get my feet wet.
Get kind of raw on there. Oh yeah.
That's all right. It sounds like my kind of party.
Oh yeah. Come on over with us.
If you want to get Spoonie going, get some of the callers that called in the block party ATL to call in on your show.
There you go.
Well, man, we already over $200 we gotta donate this year for cuss words, so I'm gonna keep it chill. Hey man, shout out to Cowboys y'all too, man. Cowboys y'all.
Oh yeah, definitely. Shout out to Cowboys y'all too.
Yeah, shout out to Cowboys y'all, man.
Definitely.
So if you guys want to find me, everything's Bluff City Cowboys, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Again, like Nick said, the struggle's real. I just got to 100 and it keeps going up and down. So help me get consistently to 100 and then let's hit that next plateau of 500. Be sure to find us every Thursday night, 7:30 Central Standard Time, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter for the Cowboy Zone. We're going to have a lot more great shows like this. You'll probably see all these guys come back again post-combine so we can do some more draft talk once we get some more information. We're probably going to do a mock draft 2.0, so you'll probably see Nick's with that as well. I'm thinking about doing 2.0 with podcasters, and we'll probably do the first 4 picks of the Cowboys. I'm kind of trying to figure out how I want to do that. So make sure you guys check that out. Got a lot of football talk to come to you. Make sure you guys continue to support all of these guys because they're all great at what they do. And to be honest, I don't even post on my Facebook page much. I'm always in the war room or I'm on Star Game. So make sure you really go check these 2 pages out. All right. Well, I think that's it for the Cowboy Zone. Again, thank you guys for joining. Everybody who stuck with us. I see we got quite a few people still watching. Thank you for rocking with us as well. We'll be back next Thursday, 7:30 Central Standard Time with some more Cowboys on.
Peace.
Look forward to it.
Later.
Hey-o. Hey-o.